Hello and welcome to another pre-game interview here on Valance League. Today in Division 1 I'm joined by Deja Vu's coach, Mar. How's it going, man? Fucking hell.
Yeah, how you doing? I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, doing okay. I would be if I could get my words out. Right, so I think we'll just jump straight into it. So you're the coach of Deja Vu. Who are you coaching? Who's the lineup?
So the lineup we've got is Arbush in the top lane, Z-Man jungle, Wakado Chewy in the mid lane, and then a bot lane of Viking as the AD carry, and then Stronger as our support.
It's a strong lineup, strong roster, really good players actually.
I like to think so.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I've not seen very much of the roster this split. So how things been going? How's scrims? How's synergy?
Yeah, scrims have been going quite well recently. It's been a bit of a strange start to split because we've only played one game. I think we've had to wait 2 weeks now between our last game against Bullpine and this one, just due to rescheduling. But it's given us a bit more time just to get some stuff prepared and just like iron out a few issues. But yeah, generally speaking, we haven't run into a lot of deep issues just of yet. It's just like the normal things you experience during a split.
Yeah, of course. It really has been the story of this split so far is the rescheduling.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that we'll fight through it, and the more time to prepare, the better. Realistically, even if you would rather just be playing your games. So, given the obviously this is only your second game of the split, but I imagine you've been scrimming quite a little bit. So compared to the teams you've been scrimming, where do you think this split's going to land you? Do you reckon you'll win?
I think it'd be very ambitious to suggest that we would outright win the split. I think we have to acknowledge where we lie in the rankings, so to speak. Excuse me. Of course, with what Vengeance have currently at the moment in their team, I think it'd be silly to not think they're the strongest team. But then it's about trying to match what they're doing. It's trying to reach their bar in terms of standards individually as well as the team play. In terms of like expectations for the split, the aim is to reach Div 1 finals. I think we're capable of getting there. But at the same time, if we were to finish like third or fourth, I still think I would consider that to still be like a good finish, considering we've only just got promoted into Div 1.
Yeah, I mean, fair play. I couldn't agree more. I think it's a fantastic answer. Obviously, looking Vengeance, which is the old Centurion, it's hard to count anybody but them as the top team. But looking at your roster and everyone else in Div 1s, I don't think it's out of the question that you'd be meeting them in the finals, which would be impressive given the fact you were just promoted. So I'm sure that we'll see how that goes if you ever end up playing your games, that is.
Yeah.
But just before we jump into Champ Select, any predictions on this game? You're up against NSK. Have you scrimmed them at all? How much do you know about them?
We've played against them once or twice in scrims. Obviously, I'm not going to suggest try and tell you what happened, but
Yeah.
no, it's been like whenever we've scrimmed, we've always had like good ideas against them, and we've had like back and forth. We learn quite a lot off them. We've learned quite a lot about ourselves as well. So I'm looking forward to this game. It's going to be a very good test about where we currently lie, because I think NSK are going to be one of those teams that will be. They're the ones to beat if you want to not be in the relegation battle, basically. I think NSK are going to be very comfortable mid-table team, and if you can't be NSK, you're going to be fearing for your lives and basically go into the relegation battle to drop into Division 2. But if you can beat them, I think that sets a good bar for any other Division 1 team that looks to either solidify themselves or even push for top 2. So I'm looking forward to it.
Good, yeah. I mean, I think I agree. They're like a solid benchmark for where you sit in that middle of the pack. So it'll definitely be interesting to see how your roster pans up against them. But thank you very much for the interview. Appreciate it. And best of luck to you and your team in this best of 3.
No problem. Thank you very much for having me.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Hang on, I will cut this bit out, but I got a Steam notification of the fucking Chime Bright opening a game, and now I can't hit the.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and everyone in between, welcome back to the Valance League Division 1 tonight. we've got Deja Vu versus Natural Summon Killers, and to bring you all that beautiful action, it will be myself, Initialize, alongside my brother, Nim Nim.
Wow.
Yeah.
You mean I'm not here to, like, I don't know, judge a pageant?
We were here to judge
it's-
Spirit Blossom dating
yeah,
clips. That's what we're here to do.
It's basically how you get me to cast. You just wheel me out of wheel me out of wherever I am and just put me in front of a mic, and I'm here. And this is, I believe, our first time casting Division 1.
I believe so.
It's
If it has, if it's not, it's been a little while since we've casted. We're normally Monday night guys. But
The last time, though, we saw Deja Vu was in the Div 2 finals.
It was.
Now, that was a match to remember. So, I do, looking forward to that. Of course, happy to cast NSK for the first time, as far as I'm aware. I've played with a couple of them before, in a couple of the custom games that we have around.
So you have your own thoughts on their play patterns and styles, here to expose them live on stream.
Play Master Yi or Nexus Blitz.
That's it.
That's the winning strategy.
Master Yi or Nexus Blitz is fairly strong.
I wonder if I'd actually be better at casting Nexus Blitz right now, because it's the only thing I play, rather than Summoner's
I
Drift.
have to say, I've quite enjoyed Nexus Blitz, especially now they've toned down some of the rewards from being so damn obnoxious.
I mean,
still not sure an Elder Dragon being first buff is still...
It's,
Third buff, I could understand. So first buff, bit rough. But maybe we should focus in a little bit more on the Div 1. Standings as kind of as they are, both these teams have got one win. Natural Summon Killers have also got the additional loss to their name.
They do, but I believe it was a 2-1.
Okay, so it was a close loss all the same. So worth keep putting that out, though. Natural Summon Killers kind of wanting to put the new upstarts in their place best they can. Of course, you know, there's some talent on both these rosters. You know, you have to be to get up to Div 1, well, whatever else you have going for you or against you.
And you look at the ranks of the players in here, got a smattering of golds and plats around, which is... That's decent. I mean, you know the fundamentals of your lane at that point. The thing about VL, though, is that because you have teams which have been around for a little while now, they know each other, and they know which combos work best for their teams, and how you team up in these different combos. Jungle support, bot lane duo, jungle mid.
Malphite Orianna every
Malphite
game.
Orianna, yeah, woo! The Div 4 finals, yeah.
I mean, you say that, but of course, Key is a bit of an Orianna main, so you never know. Definitely some potential, especially I suppose Set will work just as well as a Malphite in some situations. There's enough Set players around these days. Either way, we are into picks and bans here, guys, and that means Deja Vu opted to pick up blue side this time around, and they will have Arbush, Z-Man Jr., Wakada Chewy, Viking, and It's Stronger making up their roster.
And on the other side, it is Natural Summon Killers. No longer the Academy, cast them plenty, but first time for the big boys, it's King Tent, Ava, Key, Papalore, and Kraden. Kraden rules. No hitting the Nexus until it's done.
It's the Lord of the Camp in the top side. King Tent knows what he's doing to bring his jungler around. The name is definitely somewhat telling, either way.
Well, Arbush looking to perform some regicide then.
Yeah, indeed. All hail. We'll have to find out whether the crown lies a little too heavy on King Tent's head or not. Enough name puns for now. We'll save the rest for when we're in game. I've got a list of them, I promise you.
You know one thing I'm actually relatively happy with here? The Senna and the Ashe bans. While they are towards champion pools, they're actually somewhat tier list bans, which we don't always see in the VL, because when you're playing at this level, you're playing more towards players' champion pools rather than the meta champions.
People
why
play less, generally speaking.
Yeah, people play less or just have crutched on their picks to get them to the rank they're at, and that's fine. You know for the grand majority of people.
I'm speaking to a million mastery point Ari for a reason.
Very true. Hey, my champion pool's fine, thank you. But there's something to be said about and the part of it is about the time, because you're not pro players, you're not giving your life up for this game, at least not to the level of some people. So yeah, banning out the tier list. Well, nice. Yumi's stuck on there though. I know that this is patch 10.16 new.
So does have some slight recovery buffs.
Yes, so that is on the passive, you get 8% of your max mana back when you do auto summon with the bop and block passive. So that means that you are not running dry quite so early into the game.
Yeah. Hope you have got to use that bop and block though. Yep. Really do. Obviously later game team fights, presence of mind will keep you topped up best you can if you're starting to get those assists. But those early skirmishes, that early lane, you need that passive or you're in trouble. TLD. It will be the Caitlyn ban as well. Definitely another one of those high priority bans. Jhin.
Well, that one kind of. I know that they play it, but the thing is that Jhin is good into Caitlyn and Ashe, and they were already banned. So you're left with kind of not the strongest matchups. If you're going to pick that, I think maybe you leave the Caitlyn unbanned, because it is particularly good. The Caitlyn is very strong right now.
And also remember, Papalore is a big Xayah player, so maybe looking to angle to get that pick up, and maybe feels that the rest of the champions just aren't as strong at this point. has left Lilia open. Arbush has spent
Right.
the last week or so
How many games has
just
he got now?
playing Lilia.
He's yeah, he doesn't play much ranked. He's only got well, not he's only got double-digit figures of solo queue games on one champion. That champion is the Lilia.
79% win rate, though, is fairly impressive, frankly,
Yeah.
for a new champion.
It's not bad at all.
Especially considering where we've seen some of Lilia's win percentages at the moment. The response will be the Echo, though. Flexible champion. We know it goes to jungle if you know what you're doing, but it's not generally in Ava's wheelhouse. Thinking about picking up his Warwick here instead.
Echo's been taken up, which is pretty big. It is that flex pick between mid and jungle. And I know that, of course, that is also a takeaway from Deja Vu, because they play that pick too. Yeah, that's a takeaway from Z-Man, as far as I'm aware. Plays it in the jungle.
I feel like I've been in this place before. Oh my days, it's not Deja Vu. It's not Echo on the side of Deja Vu. Could you have imagined the beautiful synergy we could have had?
Wait, they banned out Zilean too. They're trying to deny themselves their own identity.
This is shocking. Guys, you've got to be prouder of who you are. And
Don't let us bring out the poetry again.
and all your exciting summon spells must be on D, the initial D, to allow.
Initialize. No.
Yeah, see, like,
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
No. Okay, Zaya has
if we're devolving into puns about our own names, it's gone
Yeah.
really poorly. We're not even past the first phase of picks and bans right now. Volibear picked up, locked in, is just frankly very strong right now, even with nerfs.
It's
Just
strong,
dual super well.
but has been nerfed this patch. The movement speed on your Q has been nerfed pretty heavily.
10% down.
Well, 10% down, but then also remember that when you run at someone, it doubles, right? So it doubles. So in fact, so I think it's 5% of first rank up to 10% of last rank.
Yes,
I
I
believe
think
that's
it's
it.
26%
That's
at max
more-
rank at the minute.
Actually, it might be more than that.
Sorry,
since
the
nerfed.
overall move speed is 26%.
Yeah, so but like if you're double it, so but that was turned down from like 35 or something like that. So if
Yes.
if you double that, obviously removing 1% means it's actually a 2% nerf. So if you remove 5%, it is a 10% move speed nerf, which potentially means that you get to kite them out a bit better.
And that's definitely been an issue for Volibear. I have seen some terrifying Righteous Glory Volibear teleports in recent weeks. That's less of a threat these days. And to kind of potentially deal with the Volibear, it will be the Maokai, who kind of filling in with that forest theme.
Well, this is the thing, right? No,
You take a moment to grieve. I'll continue casting.
I don't get
So-
to flame Wakata Chewy. I'm so sad.
Maybe on blue side they'll get to pick. Well, rather next game they'll get to pick it up. See how it goes. Second phase of bans still up for Deja Vu. They've got to see what to respond. Perhaps something like the Oriana, I suppose. We know that's what Key does like.
I
to go
agree. I think that would
towards.
be a really, really high priority ban right here.
There it is.
Because you're running two very low champions already in the Lilia and the Volibear. I think this is already a decent draft for the Volibear. Sorry, for the Lilia, rather, because you have another frontline champion in that Volibear. Also, remember, this is likely to be a top lane Lilia, not jungle. So I know you're saying that the Maokai to deal with the Volibear. I think that's.
Oh,
still-
sorry. Yes, of course.
yeah.
It'll be Lilia top. Yes, of course. Yes.
I was going to say, actually, as soon as the Volibear was locked in, like, you've locked in a flex pick in the Lilia, and you immediately lock in another flex pick at the Volibear, but you probably know where they're going.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually, I know they're high priority champions, but it's not maybe as high of a priority as it could have been, or high value as it could have been, because you're already saying, look, they're probably going to be Lilia top Volibear jungle.
And I know a lot of pros have been suggesting that Lilia in lane is just slightly stronger at the moment. Though then again, I've also been catching Forest Within put up some fairly disgusting numbers on that champion. Then again, he was making Kindred work when Kindred was not a champion for a while.
Very
so,
true.
You never know. Set banned out, another strong
the
pick.
Pantheon's
Flex
banned
pick
out too.
Yes.
And the thing for me is that Zyra is a front-to-back team-fighting champion. She wants to put all the feathers in one direction and rake him through the entire team. Pantheon stops you from doing that because he forces you to take odd paths to try and avoid his ult, and of course you have that point and click stun, which has to be avoided by the ult or a cleanse or something like that.
Shield
So
vault.
banning that out, I don't mind that. The question is now, what did Deja Vu do to get on top of the Zyra with this Maokai playing Gatekeeper, playing Bodyguard? They're locking in the Graves too. That was another smoke screen, another way to start peeling people off.
Also, worth pointing out something of a flex.
Oh, do they play mid?
They play it top.
Okay, so this could be
Interesting.
Maokai
King
support.
10 is a bit of a Graves player.
It could be Maokai support, could be Echo mid, Echo jungle, could be Graves top or jungle. And in fact, honestly, Graves into Lilia doesn't sound too awful. Relatively low range though in terms of Lilia getting out most
Not a
of
lot
the
of
damage on
Qs,
you.
yes. Alright, so still some responses available. Wakata Chewy will lock in the Azir. Another way to disengage. Good front to back team fight. Gotta pick up their AD carry, and they are hovering the Vayne. Is a pretty good anti-tank option versus the Maokai frontline, but it's a bold pick.
I don't mind this, because then with the Azir and the Vayne, you absolutely get to fight front to back. You kill that Maokai very quickly, you have the Emperor's Divide to peel him off as well, and Graves is relatively low range. The
Okay.
Aphelios has been put in, I think that's still fine. Again, very good at cutting through front lines if you get stacked up on a Conqueror with the Severum Q running, that Onslaught. Gives you that ability to start chunking through the front line with mixed damage because you've got the Azir and you've got the Aphelios. Volibear is mixed damage, the Lilia's AP. You have a whole menagerie of ways to get damage out on the front line. Lilia has the percent HP damage too. So I think that as long as Volibear and Lilia can survive the initial part of the fight, the initial deep, you can start cutting through these front lines and have that front to back you want.
Well, Aphelios and his menagerie of birds, bears, and deer will look to try and front to back team fight for sure. It will be the Kled.
And it will be the
last
Maokai
pick
support.
locked in, so it'll be Maokai support. It will be Graves jungle, Echo mid. Intriguing stuff. Again, I'm seeing something of front to back, but with a lot more flanking options.
Well, this
from
is the
natural
thing,
summon
right?
killers.
You're not saying how do you deal with Zaya. You kind of flank her and make sure you hold her accountable, make sure that she has to path weirdly and all this other stuff. Yeah, the same said about Azir and Aphelios, and this time you got a Kled helping you with that. So I actually think that
Echo as well.
you've got Echo and Kled doing that. So I think that NSK, given that these are kind of like for like comps, kind of, in terms of the front to back with some front line, some backline carries, they have the best way to upset the backline in this game. The better way, rather, not the better,
Yes.
whatever. So it is potential comp advantage over to NSK, largely on execution though.
Yeah. So I think my reading, feel free to tell me I'm wrong here.
Mhm.
I'm saying
do.
if it, you will do. He's like, as both my brother and a color commentator, it's kind of what you do.
It's my domain.
So for what I'm seeing from Deja Vu, if they get to play straight front to back with no shenanigans, I'd want to favor Azir Aphelios. If shenanigans occur in a front to back team fight with Kled and Echo finding their way to places they really shouldn't do, then I favor NSK. Does that feel reasonable as a take?
There's always some ability to change the look of the dice, right?
Oh,
Because
yes.
you're just gonna slide. Oh, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't slide a card out your sleeve when you're playing dice, I guess, because that's a different thing. But you have the sliding guide from Azir to reposition. You have the lantern as well. You have two backline carries as opposed to just the one at the Zaya, but the Zaya of course scales very well with a crit, so it's still relatively good. And I think the important thing here is that Zaya has to cut through two people who are less likely to build for full tank in the Volibear and the Lilia, whereas the Aphelios and the Azir have to cut through Maokai, who can reset, and then the Kled, who can remount, and then also have to have that smoke screen starting to ward them off as well. I think that Zaya potentially has a better chance to 1v2 the front line rather than Azir and Aphelios like 2v2ing the two more tanky members on the side of NSK. So it's hard to get a read off it just from draft, particularly because there are these execution flaws where you're just like, okay, right, you got to have the lantern in the right place, you got to make sure you got the slide and glide up as well. Just a little hard to call right now.
Okay, so that's kind of the broader picture. We've had some of the foibles that might come out from both squads there. I want to touch on this latest matchup that we haven't seen a lot of data for, namely Lilia in the top lane versus Kled.
Crap.
What does this mean?
Crap, I knew you were going to ask about that. I should have prepared.
Exactly. I don't know that much either, but I guess we're going to try and theory craft a little bit here before we get into game.
So Lilia, as with a lot of Kled matchups, if you hit the Q and you pull back, it ain't looking so good for your opponent. Lilia doesn't have sustain in early lane. You need to get several stacks of your Ravenous Hunter picked up, and I assume that's what Arborist is going to run. Although don't quiz me on that, I'm not entirely sure. Actually,
It would be my guess.
What I can do, I can actually go back and see what he's taken in his.
Let's find out.
So if he's playing, wait, that's not very useful. He's playing Volibear. He's playing too much Volibear. I can't see any of
So
his.
it
Lilia
could have been a
games.
flex. We would never have known.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
So we'll do a bit of a gander, see what he's been running.
Conqueror with Ravenous secondary. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So your extended trades are good. If Kled misses the Q, don't expect Kled to win. If he hits the Q, I think, particularly early game, Lilia loses out pretty hard because again, you need your Ravenous Hunter stacked up. So your passive is single target, even though your Q isn't and your W isn't, your E isn't. But your passive when it's doing that DOT and the percent HD damage, it does a lot of damage.
Laden bows, indeed.
And
Very powerful stuff.
Because Ravenous Hunter calculates healing based off if it's single target, it does full amount, and if it's AoE, it does 33% of that. You can get decent sustain into the late game if you've stacked it up and you've got a passive on loads of targets. But you don't have that early game. Expect Kled to be winning lane early unless Arbor's just really good at the champion.
Always a possibility, but you know, if Lilia can get her way on, that DOT true damage is fantastic anti-tank stuff. Can do a lot of work there. Can definitely work against Kled, who does like to stack a bit of that HP, but needs to get past the early lane where the Grievous Wounds and the Bear Trap on a row is just really powerful.
You know, one thing which is actually very important in this game, and it's something which I talked about a little bit on. I was doing some VOD review earlier, and I was talking to some people about it, and I was like, oh, okay, it's really good against XYZ. If the sleep starts going onto Xayah before she ults, she is going to get slept. And the duration of the ult is not that long, particularly at later ranks. Xayah can be slept, fall down from the ult, still be slept, and then hit. And that's a pretty important thing. So, you know, it happens with the Zoe. Zoe sleep as well, as far as I'm aware, as long as you get hit by it. The big thing about Lilia here is that she tags her passive onto people. She gets to choose when that CC comes through. So if you want, if you see that, if you get your passive onto Xayah and you start initiating a fight, if Xayah starts walking up, you immediately press the ult, and she has to back out. She has to. She can't tank that amount of damage. So I'm looking maybe to see a QSS come out of Xayah point at some points. I might have actually I would have liked to see the cleanse.
Yeah, I wonder
because you're gonna have Gravitum into the Swirl Seed, into the ult, into Thresh Hook. There are loads of things which come into that.
Thundering Smash.
Thundering Smash as well from the Volibear. So I think that Xayah needs a cleanse at some point in this game. I don't think Maokai can build Mikhails. He needs to build more tanky. Probably goes towards something like a Stone Plate or something like that, because he's got the...
I could see an argument for Locket, perhaps.
Maybe. I don't think so. I think it's a little bit inefficient.
Zeke's.
Knight's Vow is pretty good, I think. Knight's Vow, because you're kind of running more of a one-threat comp in the Xayah. The Echo can do some stuff, but the Xayah needs to be carrying a lot of your tank killing potential, particularly in terms of safe damage output. Echo can get locked up by that same CC we're talking about.
All right. Well, we're on to the Rift. To give you something of a teaser for what's coming up, I'm going to throw it over to Joyce, who's got a beautiful video for you. Welcome back. Hope that whetted your appetites for some action that will surely be occurring. Natural Summon Killers, 5-man stack. Good early game champs here. You can get that. Twisted Advanced, I could definitely find something. Looking to maybe invade early on blue buff side.
It strikes me right now. We were told there was a video. I don't actually know what that video
was.
They could have played. It could have been an 18-second video of these casters. Avoid them at all costs. This is a wanted video.
I mean, in all honesty, I'd agree with that, because we were chatting some mad crap the last time we were allowed on cast. So we discovered that Syndra was Voldemort. That's what we did. That's how sort of degenerate that cast became. No Syndra this game though, so we'll avoid that particular conversation. Come on, if you're gonna play with a team who has a top laner called Dr. Hufflepuff and a mid laner called Kingsley, like, the Harry Potter references are gonna come out.
Well, so we have Wakanda Chewie from on the blue side this game though. So we've got Star Wars is there. Yeah. We've got Marvel opened up. You know, there's so much stuff. I mean there's
Viking. Like, I could think of all of them.
There's Kingdom Hearts on Key.
Yeah, that's true.
There's I Am the Papa Lore. We've got JoJo. Look, we have so much. We should
long arm of the Papa
should
Lore.
really save some of this for actual casts.
I mean, like, let's be real as well. Like, we've got a dude.
I could tell you more about the puns I could make than the analytical points I could make.
Yeah. I mean, the other option, of course, is you just go for the old school. I can do this. DJ Khaled. That is the key in the mid lane. You don't know that meme. I've had this conversation with you. I've told you this meme before. And you're just not there with it.
Lovely.
You're out of date.
Have no memory of this.
Shocking.
Okay. Worth noting, Arbush on the Lilia. Lilia is a ranged champion. It is technically a range versus melee matchup, even though it's not a exceedingly long range champion. So that potentially can help too.
Yeah, and you can sort of see Dream Dust there just being really obnoxious. It very much is. Kled has the better all-in early on, but if Lilia can just spend her time poking at you, she's going to feel really happy.
I think if you trade one skill for one skill, Lilia wins every game. And again, that's just more... Look, that E comes in, don't need to get the W, you use that for the poke, just keep reapplying the passive. And if you get Kled unmounted, look, he's going to get dismount super early. Okay, it turns out Lilia's okay into Kled.
All right. Maybe if we can see the joust into the bear trap,
that's the thing.
We might see something.
But now the problem is he has to wait until level 3 to get that joust, because he's probably on for W level 2. If you get to level 3 without losing your mount and you have a decent amount of HP, I think those trades go fine. But because he's taken so much damage onto Skull early, it's not going to go well in the early game. However, Graves has level 3 going bot side play into red buff, potentially can upset that lane top side. I need to stop saying potentially.
Yeah, but potentially, Graves would be caught in a ward because Arbush put one down really aggressively deep into the river.
Very necessary, very necessary. You see what he did there? He didn't even last hit the minion, his passive did it for. What wonderful mechanics, knowing that the next tick of his passive would take that cannon. He totally didn't plan for that.
I'm hoping it was. I'm hoping it was actually planned. You gotta hope. I potentially absolutely
Actually,
not.
look at this. Actually, so what King 10 did, knowing that he has very low health on Skull, pops his pot so he can keep mounted for longer. I think that's important, but he's still losing out in this early laning phase pretty heavily.
Yes, he is. I've reminded myself what Cled's W is now called. Violent tendencies. I don't think I ever actually knew that.
I know bear trap on a rope, joust, and then
Charge.
Oh, that's good.
The
That's
one.
good tap. Okay, so Z-Man's made his way down into bot lane. Has of course they'll get lane gank
Oh, good
potential.
hook.
Ooh,
It is,
lands
and
it
that will
in.
be the Lancing Gang into the flame. Now, Kraden trying to find his way out. Has got Aftershock running, but the Sky Splitter comes down. Forces double flash in all summoners, but now Ava looking to return in counter gank this. Dives forward. Got himself an end of the line to go for some more damage. Shotgun shells coming flying out. But no, summoners have to be burned. It will stop the chase under tower. As Bear Trap on a rope lands onto Lilia, gets the pull back. But that's a fair amount of return damage with that Dream Dust. Oh my days, gets the swell seed down as well. Flash miss!
Oh!
Watch out! Eve! That one hurt for first blood.
Yeah, we're not gonna say oof anymore. We're gonna say eep.
Eep. Eep.
That one was a big eep.
That one was a big eep. It's what it is it's EPA. This is what it is. It's actually the
Environmental Protection Agency. Lilia is here to save the world. Save the world. Save the forest.
Exactly, she's here to save the forest. It's EPA. Watch out, EPA are here. That's what the W
Wow,
actually is.
Okay. Oh my word, this yeah, okay. I wasn't ready for this. I do think of that gank bot side, lantern ganks. It's not look, I'm sorry. I gotta have some time to talk at some point. We can't look at every trade in lane.
I thought there was gonna be a bit more there. It's fine. Continue.
So really good lantern gank in bot side. I think maybe you have to try. That's a good hook actually.
Okay, that's some Infernum damage out as well with the Graviton binding Eclipse, but I think you will actually get a chance to speak.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, nice trade. They kind of split their focus too much, and with the exhaust and double flashes, they managed to obviously the heal as well. Every summoner on the bot side, they managed to disengage that play well enough. I do think that Volibear maybe should have, after stunning the Xayah, which I think was the right choice. I think you stop her putting out some DPS. You have to turn back onto the Maokai after that point. You split your damage too much, and that allowed Ava to come back in and make things very awkward.
Yeah, still big summoner advantage is one summoner, or it's three summoners versus none available, which is, definitely punishable. Of course, Volibear down his flash, but that's not the worst thing for the lane here. Just got to be a bit aware of whether Papalore can stay safe. We said he might want to run that cleanse, and with those summoners down, it's starting to feel like that might be an option here.
I have to say, I'm getting a lot of flash because Graves, Ava, his name's spelled out with the alpha.
It is.
So I did a degree in physics.
Yes.
I have a lot of nightmares regarding most Greek letters. I listen like, no, what?
Alpha decay. It's here.
This could mean any. Oh, I was about to say like, is this a classical physics thing? It is completely nuclear physics. Yeah, it's a nucleus. Nucleon numbers, all that stuff.
Okay.
Wait, is it? Is that right?
I wouldn't know at this point.
This
It's been a
tells
long
you
time
why I
since
didn't
studied
do well at
physics
my
in
physics
first
degree.
season.
Anyway, that's my PTSD moment over with. Nice, cool.
Yeah,
Did it.
glad you guys got to share in that. So there you go.
Also worth noting, which I mean, just remember this. I knew this all along. What am I talking about? Echo is the Azir counter in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
This was an Azir counter way back, season 5, season 6. This guy's been played into that champion so much. I mean, remember back to season 6 or whenever, season 5 when Jensen was on Cloud9, had a big history playing that champion and stuff like Syndra, again into the Azir. This can be a really big team fight counter because you jump right on top of him and you force him to move and use his reposition just from that W being on top of him.
Of course, in recent weeks and patches a month, we have been seeing more of the Azir Echo again, but it's been largely interesting to see that it's gone ult for, well, not even just that, ult for ult a lot in lane. That's what it does. You're not getting kills so much.
But that doesn't work if Azir's pushed up, because if Azir's pushed up, you can't push you into tower, which is when you have to ult back as Echo,
Yes.
right? So what you're looking to do is position very well, unlike Arbush right now.
Arbush now in a spot of bother, but will get the flash out of the bear trap on right and will therefore survive, but it is now burned. Didn't have a ward up to spot that in. Just a little bit greedy in how far he was pushed up.
He is stacking up on his Q quite a lot. Graves has cancelled the back, trying to stack the Q, trying to go for the poke trades.
All right, that's the bear trap on a rope, but it will break. And with that slow from Swellseed was enough.
That's actually a lot of movement speed. He can chase him down here.
Could think about it, but actually the remount's coming fairly swiftly here. That's another use of the Q. Drowsy comes down. Watch out. Eep! Here comes the damage, and it's another solo kill. And look who else is here. Z-Man Jr. looking to trade onto Ava, who's got the level 6. Collateral damage misses. And the collateral damage will in fact be Graves' own health bar. Falls down for a double in the top side.
And,
Lilia 201.
The collateral damage from that will probably be the Herald, although we'll see what's happening with Echo. Doesn't go for the W, doesn't put it down. Abush, don't give him Lilia, apparently. He's 30 CS up and 2 solo kills.
2 solo kills on his way to a Liandry's Torment, laning super well. This Kled that we said maybe ought to have an advantage early on a lane. We theory crafted wrong. It's looking pretty good for Arbos. Whether that's King Tent playing the lane wrong, whether that's just the way the matchup naturally goes, it's difficult to stay at this stage in. That said, it's going very well.
It is. I want to see what his second item is. I think this game is really good for Frozen Heart's second item. So for those of you that don't know, Frozen Heart, when you're in its aura, it procs the Liandry's double tick because it just does. Don't question it. So even though it doesn't give you the actual slow, against Kled, attack speed based champion, if you can slow down his W and stop his combo being from so good, that's nice. Echo likes having some attack speed to proc his passive, but that's not so important. The Graves, very attack speed based, slows down his reload, and of course the speed of his shots coming out. And then the Xayah, there's like multiple people, three and a half champions you do want to slow attack speed down on, and having a double AD topside from the side of NSK, it would be very valuable to have that. The Liandry's is now built. He might just go towards more damage. That's also fine. If he thinks he's just going to help him win the side lane, I'm okay with that too. Be proud of yourself. Got to be confident with those solo kills. But potentially that would help. I need to stop saying that word. That might help the team more.
I wouldn't have noticed if you didn't call it out.
Yeah, but someone in chat would have flamed me, Sam.
Guys in chat, get that counter running. That's 2 he's called out thus far. I want to see how many we get by the end of this series. And I will make a little poster for him. It's going to be great. Stick it to his door. Z-Man Jr. here in the bot side looking for a gank. Kraden is around, but actually so is Ava! Hello! Volibear in the jungle, and the Huntsman will find instead a...
TP in!
Yeah, indeed, Nature's Grass coming out, but Flash out of Papalore to stay outside of that Emperor's Divide. Survives, but once again, summoners are being popped.
Man, it's Div 1 alright. You can see the teleports coming in, pretty high value. I really like the map plays that are coming across. Volibear, Graves, they know where the next play is going to happen. It's going to be on the bot side. They're trying to use the next round of ultimate cooldowns to try and force something. And as soon as the fight happens, Wakada Chewy comes in with a very well-timed teleport to make sure that his team on the bot side will always be at the numbers advantage there.
Just gets the dismount here as well. Madness is pretty obnoxious as a passive on Lilia.
Because remember, remember it affects all damage, not just your ratios. It's not like you get 5% or 10%. Oh no!
Swirl Seed is going in now. Watch out! He misses the main center, but doesn't matter. Gets the kill with the WQ.
Oh, the kill combos, man! The kill combos. You know, I was just talking to someone in another Discord about with some casters like. I don't think that Lilia's got very much burst damage. Really? Does Lilia not have burst damage?
Well, turns out that if you can bring Kled down to his non-mounted form, Skull disappeared, you get to proc sleep, he doesn't get to charge up to get towards the remount, you get full damage burst from a W into a Q, and he just dies.
The really awkward thing now is that you are 2 levels down, and there will be a second level up the next time this happens, and you will not have that. King 10 really can't start off a lot of these trades. Honestly, I think that you have to trade. I think that the problems did come from early lane in terms of just losing so much of Skull's HP bar very early on. Means that when he did reach that level 3 mark, wasn't in a position to hard trade in those times where maybe you can. And now it's gone to the point where you're against Tabby. It does look like there is an cloth armor in inventory. I hope that's a Frozen Heart. It might be something else.
Deadman's might work as well for more speed. They're going to try and engage onto Wakada Chewy here. The parallel convergence came out, didn't land, but the engage now from Kraden. The charge is here. Lilia's come around the back, but it's too late for It's Stronger, who's actually very dead. Wakada Chewy gets exhausted, but Ava flashing in over the back. King 10 has found himself in a 1v2, goes down. Wakada Chewy, however, falls as Arbus chases off Papalore. 2 for 2.
He doesn't just chase him off, he kills him.
4-0-1 now on this Lilia. There is no ult, no lilting lullaby to point out, but the start on the dragon continues. There is still the ultimate for Key, but the Swirl Seed comes down. So much damage from Lilia, forcing this Echo away. Hasn't ulted, but at this point, we'll get very little health back from that parallel convert, or from the Chrono Break.
This is the thing, right? Lilia gets like 1 E, and the Liandry starts ticking. It's extra damage, keeps the Madness taxed up as well. And as I was saying, that Madness passive increases all damage. It's not like you get 5% more AP. It's just all damage you deal. That includes all base damages and everything miscellaneous too. That your passive, which does a % health damage over time, that is increased. And the Liandry's burn itself is also increased. There's just so much extra damage tacked on that it just becomes so much damage early into the game particularly.
Well, there is the cleanup on our playing bot side with that Herald that was taken earlier, but it is now 2 Drakes to none. 1 Herald to none, and a 2,000 gold lead here at 13 minutes into the game. Largely positioned on this absolutely
he's
dominant
ulting.
earlier. Oh, no, not again. Bear Drama Red will land, but so will watch out Ava now coming around, looking to turn this back around. Swellseed lands one more time. That is as much damage as it can go, but good lord, true damage is a hell
The
of a
Q
drug.
stacked, he can't run!
And you better be getting out of my forest. Ava, the huntsman on Graves, just fights Swellseed to the face. I don't think I've seen Artbush miss one on screen thus far.
He don't miss. He don't miss those. Okay, alright. Lilia is in this game, and I continually have to reevaluate what I think of this champion. Honestly, I haven't seen it that much, and seeing it now, I'm like, okay, fan-worthy. Very much against this team.
Well, it turns out if you go north of the wall that leads into top lane, you're in the north, you're in Scotland. And Miss Scottish Lilia will show you exactly what she thinks about you being in her particular part of the world.
Reminds me of that one scene from Skyfall, James Bond, where it's just like, there's one moment where a guy's trying to like get into some estate, and he just gets shot. Welcome to Scotland. There can be only one Highlander. Look, the references go on, and so does Lilia. Lilia also goes on and takes the first turret solo.
Oh, no, King Tent. Your tent in this part of the forest is a bad idea. Leave. Don't be here. You found bears and murderous deer.
Yeah, it's like the forest of Ungorn Forest or whatever it is, next to Isengard.
Fangorn.
Fangorn, that's the one, not Ungorn. Right.
I don't know where you were going.
Alright, so Graves, up with a CS advantage at least, does have more golden inventory. Does have slightly more golden inventory, slightly. It's like, oh, he's bought more items, he must be more rich. He has stolen away another red buff, but it will be at the cost of the second Herald. So of course went over after that top lane play where it was the first of those solo kills and then the death of Graves 2. Herald's been given over to Aphelios actually, which is interesting because so you get the empowered recall when you get to Herald. What this means is that because plates aren't down already, this means that Aphelios can choose to just recall and have that speedy reset whenever he wants. Be in the part of the map he needs to be in for the next fight.
Can definitely be that far up. Can be in the right place rather. That's a better way of phrasing that. Gonna see not an early back though, just gone straight to that lane. Hasn't looked for the aggressive reset as yet. That said, it is a tower for tower. Currently on the map, we saw Papalo on the bot side pick up a turret for natural summon curse, and maybe the Xayah, and now at a first item, can find something in a fight. I don't think it's going to be all that easy, but Graves here, at Warrior, at Dirk, Proto Belt on Echo. Maybe you can find your way onto Viking, find your way onto Arbush, blow up this incredibly strong Lilia, and look to win a team fight.
And what we did see in that Dragon fight was that NSK very quick to pull the trigger. You're going to have to be pulling a bot side, but with the Zir passive, he doesn't go in any further.
Can't, but on this Echo definitely has a more standard side lane champion.
One Swellseed lands here, really, really dangerous for NSK. I'm not sure they want to stick around. Okay, Herald dies, doesn't get too much in the tower.
End of the line plus smite is a lot of damage, and the Herald falls before mid lane turret. Half HP gone, but still a little while until this next Drake, about a minute or so. It is an Ocean Rift. 2 dragons have already gone the way of Deja Vu, and maybe Natural Summon Curse will look to fight around that. I don't know where their item break points will be around that. I'm assuming that Xayah, for example, will not be anywhere near Infinity Edge by that point.
No way. She only got sat on the full Estus River and has 700 gold inventory, so still about 2,500 gold off.
Zeke's Convergence has come in for Maokai though, so of course once he burns that ultimate, might be enough work to give the likes of Xayah some more damage output.
My problem is Azir outranges Xayah. You get hit by the Lilia E, that's effectively Xayah out the fight for the next couple of seconds, and during that next couple of seconds, Azir, who will be protected by a Volibear, who's relatively strong, and this Lilia, who's just running through so much of the enemy team. Like, look how much damage that Q does. He get, oh, actually one more Q.
He's just looking for the E. He's got the speed up, forces a charge out of
You have to. There's no turret. Yeah. You get hit by one thing, the sleep comes through, probably dies.
Gets the turret, but it does mean that Kled will not have charge, does not have teleport, and therefore probably not the easiest to fight this dragon fight.
Lilia's going for the Zhonya's.
Oh yes.
Which is more AP, more burst, and it allows you to be slightly more of a pseudo frontline as the game goes on. Did you notice what I almost said and then didn't?
I did, but there will not be an additional mark on that particular tally as yet. Sorry, chat, got a bit baited there. Either way, we're going to see Natural Summon Killer start the Dragon.
But they're doing it without the Cluddle, and Lilia has CP. They could get engaged on him.
Too late, Dragon's gone down, but now Kraden's looking to engage, does advance onto the Volibear, who's gone into the backline, but his exhaustion just blown up. Echo finds the triple stun, double kill already. The back, or the Azir is dead.
That's a good box.
That's a good box. The box was well played, but now Key still looking for a little bit more. Won't find it. That is a fight win for Natural Summon Killers, with or without the pedal.
It's even gold again with that gold, with those kill golds coming in. Potentially, that stops the mid lane tower going down. But Viking is there to play. I'm so sorry. I'm just here. I'm crutching on these words, and it ain't working for me. I'm so disappointed in myself.
Not as disappointed as the chat will be. Could you imagine the vicious commentary already?
Look, no, honestly, Sam, I don't even tweet. I checked Twitch chat over one of my casts for the first time the other day, and I saw my first derogatory comment. I feel like I've made it.
You've made it as a cast. Congratulations.
Yeah.
All right, well, Lilia 601, but the gold score is 30,000 to 30,000 pretty much. And that could be a little scary because his Graves is off to a killer start in this game.
My problem in that last fight particularly was that Arbrosh had that sideline pressure. Great, okay? But if you want to fight that, you have to be there at the start of it. Make sure that you can peel off people with your ult. Oh, he's going in, but the tower's there, not going to lead to anything more.
Chrono Break would probably come out as well, so
that's true. You can ult off the sleep.
Either way, that means some more Swell Seeds landing armor.
And then with the Liandry's keeping ticking as well. So nasty. It's not quite as bad as Teemo passive, I guess, because the poison lasts so long that Liandry lasts even longer. Actually, no, it's pretty. It's still up there. It's not too bad.
Either way, Key is desperately trying to be able to back and find a reset, but Lilia just been throwing Swell Seed up Swell Seed.
Really watch. So, Gathering Storm just came in. That's one thing that's important. I don't know whether Xayah had that actually. I didn't. I saw it pop up on. Oh, fun.
Hello, Kled says Volibear, but doesn't get to just jump away from danger. Lilia does finally get some free time alone with the cat, and that will be 2 carrots now to 2. That gold lead back in favour of Deja Vu as a result.
So I do think that Xayah needs a cleanse at some point this game, but you need to be very careful. And also, I think that Deja Vu need to be proactive with their CC, right? You can start throwing out your Gravitum ult and then chaining that into hooks. If you can do that and force out the Xayah ult a bit more, I think they're in a really good position this game. They haven't really been doing that. I would like to see more of it. However, for now, as things are kind of spreading out into this 3-lane style of play with the... And importantly, it's a 3-lane style of play with the Kled losing out because he's so far behind. I think this still favors Deja Vu a bit. It's not clean, as clean and said and done as that, though.
Well, on a couple items here as well, namely it has been Duskblade second. Graves, and we've finally got a Black Kled, which makes sense when you have got a Graves wanting to get through as much armor as he can with lethality, and a Xayah behind that as well.
We saw that Kraden was very willing to flash forward on the Maokai multiple times to lock down the first target, whether it's Stronger or Z-Man or whatever, right? If you have Duskblade coming through with that proc, it just means that the enemy team is more likely to die within the window of CC, and then it's suddenly a 5v4, and it doesn't matter if Lilia is strong in this game, who has gone for the Rylai's before the...
before the Zhonya's completion.
I don't think that's... look, I don't think it's an issue this game, because again, you're trying to... Like, look at that. You'll like him through here, maybe. It just means that in the long lane, Lilia becomes such an issue. If you want to be slightly more front line, dealing with the Xayah, whatever, maybe the Frozen Heart's a bit better. But as it stands, the long lane, already very, very good for Lilia. Gets you the extra HP, and as I say, you've already got those early kills. Be confident in yourself and back yourself to try and get some more.
Well, speaking of confidence, he was a confident player around the Ocean Drake last time out for Natural Summon Killers. There will be a second Ocean Drake spawning in just under a minute as I speak of it. And that could well be... yeah.
If we're going
they don't know about that one.
Ah, damn.
Sorry about that.
See, what we're doing there, we're matching up with like the Scottish puns, we already had like the Fangorn and Lord of the Rings stuff, and we bring it back to both.
Demo's head will be in his hand somewhere listening to our full rendition.
I'm trying to steal his job as the Scottish accent color. I wouldn't do that. I think that would be incredibly insensitive if I did that. And very bad to boot.
Well, yeah.
Oh, Kraden's looking for a fight. Remember, they have Maokai into Echo W. That is a very good combo they have. If they lock down someone like Aphelios, he is not safe.
But that's the hook into Swell Seed. Kraden now taken very low, and they decide to re-engage onto the Maokai themselves. But he's just gone, deleted. But wait, see that the pressure's gone as well. It's 1-for-1, support. but that's a lot of the engage out of natural summon killers.
What I really would have liked there is for Lilia to immediately all in the Xayah, because it looked like Kratom was probably dead. And then you get the sleep on Xayah, and it means that probably Stronger makes it out. Doesn't happen that way. They still have the Lilia ult. Importantly, maybe fishing for something larger and say, look, we're going to give up the Thresh. That's not the important person right now. Whereas the Maokai is the major form of engage for NSK. Can they win a fight like they did last time? Slow Sleed hits 2 people. Look at the damage.
Oh, that's super sad. Ava here with that squishy on this race, but don't want to engage things. They're going to go for this mid lane they started up earlier with the Rift House and will claim it. I think that's probably an okay trade.
Sure.
Coming in. All right, never mind. We would have given you a chance to speak, but instead, here comes Kled. Swell Seed lands, or rather the Blooming Blows does. Echo into the backline, but gets shoved out. Taken very, very low. Has to Chrono Break away, does escape. But now we're seeing Volibear caught in a bit of an awkward spot, but has Blast Plant to get his way out of danger. And the engage is stifled for Natural Summon Killers. No kills found on either side.
Lots of ults traded. We've got 3 on the side of Deja Vu. That's going to be Swell Screen just missing. Remember, the Lilia ult is still available. The trigger's not been pulled on that yet. On the other side, the charge and the Chrono Break were used. Maokai ult's not available, as Xayah didn't feel sufficiently threatened enough, or didn't feel sufficiently aggressive enough to pull the trigger on that one either.
Intent back in this top side, looking to find his way back into the game best he can. Definitely been a difficult game for Kled.
Yeah, he's at 1.5 items, and Black Cleaver's nice. You have 2 AD threats in your team, and you might be able to stack that up onto one important target in the front line. So, if you get the Q off, you get like an auto reset, and then have the tier map proc too. That Black Cleaver is going to be stacked a large amount, and when you've got a 2-item Xayah with the Infinity Edge and the Essence Reaver, that is going to do a lot of damage, so that's more than fine.
On the other side, though, Lilia has hit 3 items.
Hooray!
That Madness passive is already doing a hell of a lot of work.
I do genuinely think Frozen Heart's really good at this point. You already have the slow. It gets you up to 40% CDR with all your runes and items. I want to see it.
Yep.
Show me the Frozen Heart.
Frozen Heart, and then I mean, there's a lot. I mean, there may be something when it says something like a Spirit Vision, that overcapture on CDR, if I remember what Spirit Vision gives
I mean,
me.
if it's a good, if it's the right item for it, sure. But I think that's the important. Maybe for step fast at that point.
This massive welcome to stretch through that magic.
That also gets you 10% CDR.
Because you could see that, because it would also be quite nice for these.
Look, you are somewhat worried about the Echo, but he's not the main source of damage that's going to be hitting you. You're more worried about trying to shut down the Xayah, because if you can deal with the Xayah, this team fight falls apart from NSK. If you get rid of that Xayah, you get a good ult onto it. It's really, really difficult for them to play the game. Okay, just going to tank up some turret shots. And remember, Aphelios' turrets lower range this patch.
Yes.
And,
he found. They spotted him coming in, but they won't go any further. The charge will come out, though. Here comes Kled. The box is pretty good, though. Buys a lot of time, and now the response coming up from Aphelios. Arbush on the side does not hit the Swell Suit critically. It's going to get rooted down. Look for those booming blows. Do start hitting in the backside. Viking on a killing spree, and the pillaging will continue. And it's being done by the Watch Out Eep from Arbush, who finds a godlike kill onto Kled. That's a big Chrono Break to get onto the Aphelios. The shutdown comes up, and Ike needs to escape. Thundering Smash will not land. That slow hit from the Swell Seed, but there is still going to be the Blast Plant out, and Key will continue to run, but I don't know how far he can get.
He's going to get out. I'm going to throw it out there. Do you know what Echo Ult does? There's a ruddy big shadow telling you where it's going to go.
Arbush looking for the trade, Mr. Swell Seed, and doesn't feel okay going further any forward.
So as far as I'm aware there, the Lilia ult did not activate onto Xayah. I think she managed to ult before that came down. Unless I got the interaction completely wrong. But either way, the sleep didn't come through onto Lilia. Xayah. Lilia still doing a lot of damage. Tanked up 3 people there. Got CC'd by the Maokai. Was not enough to kill her, and probably had the most damage in that team fight. Of course, we don't get to know teamfight damage at the end of it, but I guess we get to look at the post-game damage, and it will be pretty spectacular.
Indeed, still about 1,000 gold lead to Deja Vu. They feel like they've got better map pressure, but you can see enough of these items are in here that, like, Ava, Papalore have got ways to blow people up. So does Key, now at 2.5 items himself, looking towards what looks like a Nash's Tooth third on this Echo.
Yes, that gets you up to 40% CDR, you're also really low cooldown, and hitting level 16 soon because you have farmed up very well. Same level as the most fed person in the game in the Lilia on the other side, doing very well for himself, and of course we saw what happened with that ult. Speaking of itemization, I am not sure I like the Triforce on the Volibear. I think Deadman's allows you, again, just anything that shuts down the Xayah is important. Triforce gives you damage, but you will not probably have enough damage to solo out the Xayah on yourself. Whereas someone like, if you manage to get Deadman's with the extra move speed to run into someone, so either Aphelios gets a Graviton ult, a hook lands, or Lilia comes through with her damage, I think that's more important then the Triforce, plus you're against so much AD, it's very effective at keeping yourself alive.
You can see it's the needlessly large Rotten infantry for Lilia as well. Not going towards defensive stats, looking to probably a death cap, one would assume. And in fairness, at 7-0-3, I can understand the logic. It's like, let me double down on how much damage I'm doing.
In here, he's very deep.
Very deep, but here comes Key, the flash in, or out rather, and we're going to see the Stormbreaker come out. He's dead, shut down for the Azir, but now the backline goes Kraden, and that's onto the Aphelios, who gets eviscerated by the feathers. Those are some sharp bird talents cutting in, and it's a 1-for-1 AD carry for jungler. But with the Baron, with the dragon and Baron alive, there's no smite available for natural summon killers. They may have to give up this third Drake.
But AD carry down on one side. Oh, it's a Death Brush.
I'm going to try and find it. Don't, though, and that is a swell seal on the backline. There is still no Lilting Lullaby. Actually, wait, the Lilting Lullaby is popped. That's alive from me. So they're going to try and get to the backline, but the parallel convergence buys too much space. It's stronger. Taken out. But we're already seeing the Chrono Break. Double kill onto the Volibear jungler for jungler trade. But we're going to see a lot of damage still coming in from Arbush. But the Blooming Blows ulted away from by Xayah, but it's not going to be enough. Arbush gets the shutdown. True damage is obscene. The dismount and the passive will secure a double for Lilia. 9-0-4. The one remaining person alive. I'd say I lie. Key managed to get out. But it will now be the Lilia looking to start up this dragon, and with the amount of damage she's got, I suspect
but
she's secure. But wait, Graves coming down.
Graves is coming down.
Might be a risk. You can see Aphelios is here. Arbush is trying to de-aggro this.
No, Arbush might die here. This could be a really huge shutdown. Okay,
so Vikings now here has to escape, looking for
Graves
more.
has ult, and he has smite too, so this is secure now.
It is secure. Leashed. Fast enough. Leashed. Infernum ult comes out, attempted damage at the end of it. Doesn't find a lot. Actually, it's still Ocean Soul point now for natural summon killers.
About to say, that's a pretty big blunder. So, Arbush doesn't need no Frozen Heart, don't need none of that, just has lots of damage. Pretty much sold out the AD carry, in fact did by the end of it, and got 2 other kills on top of that too. This Lilia is doing so much work and is running around these fights just like it's nobody's business. I do think that there needed to be a Lantern to save Viking at the start of that play. I think that was a bit of a miscommunication. Fellas kind of left a little bit out of the loop and was caught out by a good charge and a good twisted advance from Kraden, but still just that miscommunication leading to quite an unfortunate situation.
Baron setup is now the aim of the game here for Deja Vu, who are sick and tired of losing objectives. That's
who needs any of that? Who's about that life?
And you can see Lilia yet to go back and pick up what's likely to be a death cap completion, all things said and done after that last fight.
Needs 100 more gold.
Needs 100 more gold. So Kraden takes it low. So yeah, let's see.
Well, guess it with that.
There we go. There's the gold in. Death cap completion money is available. Lilia will now look to back and have that to her name. The Fawn is looking more and more like... Well, I was going to go with some sort of Satan references with goat legs, but that was just a bit far for me. So
I was like, the Fawn is the... I'm really waiting for what you're going to say here.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
There wasn't written out on honesty, which wasn't very good. So I pulled away from it and told you about it anyway.
At least we can be self-aware.
One tries.
So Aphelios has 3 items. Third item is the Bloodthirster. I guess it's seen. I guess Viking thinks Death Dance too many nerfs now. Just a little bit too awkward. Pikachu uses ult onto Key. Not traded back though.
Okay, so does not get traded back, and that's the really terrifying point. Has to flash away from the Graves though, who with that lethality build does a hell of a lot of damage.
Absolutely does. Comes in going towards the edge of Night second. After the jungle item and the Dustblade. Flash away from Azir, very, very important. We already talked about how easy it is for Echo to force out mobility in that sliding glide from Wakata Chewy. Now without the flash, you only have that to rely on. And besides the Thrash Lantern, which of course is a little bit hard to use in a lot of these hectic fights. Arbush just checking the Baron with Swell Seed, notices that they are not on it, and 2,000 gold is the lead for Deja Vu, but at 32 minutes into the game, it means exceptionally little, especially when 3 items are on Xayah. 2.5 are onto this Graves, and 3 are on Echo. They are ready and willing to fight. Wakata Chewy's Azir still stuck at 2 items here, kind of building towards what would be a Zhonya's third. Has kind of picked up you sit on Lost Chapter. It's just very good for the CDR and your laning stats, because Azir's mana gets chunked through a lot. If you ever have to use your EQ, you just don't have the mana for the rest of the laning phase. Also allows you to not take something like Mana Flow Ban, allows you to take more combat efficient summoners like Presence of Mind, much better for his longer team fights, and at the attack speed room and the precision tree as well. He's gone Halo Blades, but that's another thing. We didn't talk on that before, but Halo Blades is very good for the short breaks. Which is better against his Echo because he rarely stands around to get autoed when you live 10 foot up. Worse than the team fight, though. Oh, this could be a Baron start. Everyone's on the bot side of the map. Yeah, they've got
Lilia is an exceptional Baron.
Oh, that's
taking
going
the
down
DOG.
quick.
It's going down very fast. Double big time carries as Zia shreds Baron. So does Aphelios. He's got himself no chakrams though, but here comes the charge from King Tet looking to disengage Baron start. And it will be effective. Deja Vu pull away.
I think that Deja Vu could have been a lot more bloodthirsty there.
Turn around on it. Yeah, I wonder
Get
about it.
yourself a teleport and you get yourself the ult. Of course, if you lose that fight, it probably loses the game. But with a dragon spawning in a minute, that would have been the time to go. Because you don't want to go take the dragon and have a trade with Baron. I think that's kind of awkward at that point, even if it gets you up to Soul Point. I think you can also collapse just onto the... there was no flash onto... Plaid still doesn't have it. A couple of seconds off on that. You could have collapsed onto that, focused him down. You're now facing down Neko, who's managed to scale up to 4 items, has Gnashed Tooth and a Void Staff, so the continued damage in the team fight from Key is huge. He's 4-0-3.
Edge of Night in as well. Pretty scary. This Graves definitely looking
Okay,
to blow somebody up.
30 seconds onto the Dragon. It looks like they're going to rush Baron, at least start it. Trying to pull them off, but you've given up vision control on the bot side of the map for the purpose of your Baron bait. What's going to happen with this?
That's the risk they're taking. They will come into the dark and we'll take Baron, but we're kind of the question is whether Natural Summon Killers want to try and go for the Ocean Soul and or come and contest. Ava is here, and I think that probably answers our question. Does a lot of damage onto this Volibear, who, as we said, didn't build all that tanky. And that will mean that actually Natural Summon Killers get to force Deja Vu
And
off
they get
Baron
to, they get to
back.
rush that Dragon now. Graves can go and solo it while this very strong Echo can poke his head around so he can get a pick and then ult himself out.
Okay, Dragon now live. Volibear is going to try and come over and contest, but they have no vision. And Graves with this amount of damage will surely already almost be done with this Drake. It's already about halfway done. And it's just going to be Ocean Soul over Natural Summon Killers.
That's why you probably have to make something more of that Baron play. You're facing up against Ocean Soul, and don't get me wrong, you got a lot of damage, and you have a slight gold lead. 35 minutes, that means next to nothing, though. I am now slightly worried about Deja Vu's chances, even with a 9-0 Lilia topside. He's going towards what does look to be that Spirit Village last, or maybe the Adaptive Sound. We've got that Spectre Scout inventory.
Yeah, I wonder whether it might be the Abyssal Mask. We'll see whether... Oh, sorry, it doesn't help with the
Yep,
Mask.
this match rolls out to Catalyst and the next one.
Where that goes, but blue buff stolen away onto Ava, who is just filthy strong to watch the game. Continued positioning around this Drake. Uncontestable vision in the form of the Scuttle Crab Speed Shrine is in favour of Natural Summon Killers. No one to be found. Bear Trap in the rope is disengaged from by Z-Man Jr. Pull away.
But now you've got Ocean Soul into class, which means that even though he's 0-7, way down in gold, he's still useful in the fights. He can just regen. He'll have like an effective extra 300, 400 HP because that'll regen throughout the fight.
So,
Oh gosh, that's a 5,000 gold lead in top lane. Unfortunately, some leads in, well, quite a large lead in the jungle for the Graves, which of course is that extra carry, you know, that 11,000 over to 9,500, or 12,000 almost. This is another thing, right? If you're gonna go damage onto someone like Hecarim or Volibear, you kind of want to be ahead. This is why Deadman's play normally much more cost efficient, just bluntly, just much more cost efficient. Okay, one of the follow-on effects from having Ocean Soul now off the table, because that's now been claimed by NSK, you have a Elder Dragon spawning in 4 minutes. No one is going around the Baron again, and, well, not right now. Deja Vu do not feel confident to go clear out vision, even though they just saw Maokai and Xayah clearing through bot side.
clearing?
They're clearing bits and pieces now.
Yeah. So getting their way in, do have themselves some more vision control back in that. Involved on the side of Deja Vu. Now shoving back in, have, well, got them saved to the river at least. You can see on your mini-map, Key just beyond the Baron. Looking for success levels there is parallel convergence. Gets a bit of a chunk onto Z-Man Jr.
Doesn't proc onto Baron, so luckily it doesn't aggro that on there for about half of Volibear's HP. As we say, not that tanky right now. Actually, this is a point. 3 levels up, a lot of gold. Bled has not been seen here. I don't think he wants to take a trade. I'm going to throw that out there, but okay, he's not seen.
Okay, has been spotted now, but Arbush doesn't seem to care. He's happy with where the weight is. Wants to reset and be around for a teleport or just to walk up to the Baron. He's waiting around. Sells the Nectron, or the Spectre's Cowl for the Oblivion. I think that would have been a Void Staff.
No, healing version from now on. Now it's
course.
actually
Yeah, that makes a
worth
lot of
it.
sense.
You're
yeah.
against an Ocean Soul, against people who are going to survive long enough to get lots of healing out of it. So that's
No one else
probably
has
worth it.
been-
It kind of sucks, don't get me wrong, but you probably need it now. Because you're the person who's going to be putting out the most poke damage, ironically, as someone who's only got like one long range ability. If you land something, if you land that swell safe, it is very much worth it. Now, Desperation Baron comes out. Well, at least the bait.
They starting. If they are going to be on vision, of course, the teleport is coming in. I believe that's a double coming out. King
Oh,
Death and
2-level smite advantage.
2 levels might advantage. It's secured though. Ava doesn't get it. The fight commences, and that will be a kill onto the volley bear already. The back end of this fight is a bloody mess, but that is a huge lilting lullaby. Watch out! It claimed
gosh.
multiple lives, and Lilia is running over the back end of this fight. Has not fallen. Will chase down Key, who's trying to trade back onto this Lilia. Woo! That's the Lichbane proc for the shutdown onto that Fawn. 3, 4, 3. Baron secured,
No,
but it's
people
going to be
still
a fight
alive.
continuing, and Key is the key in this fight. Oh my days, why do you have the Keyblade? Asks the side of Deja Vu, and it particularly ends the lives of that. Well,
No,
pretty much
he could have
everyone.
gotten out.
Ricardo
He
Chewy
stopped
gonna
his
retreated.
back. He's gonna get run down there. There's 2 CDR.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Look to phase dive onto you once again. Ricardo Chewy trying to escape, trying to get some damage out. Forces the chrono break, but there will still be a parallel convergence. Gets
No!
over the wall, but not before the twisted advance comes out.
Wait, where'd the
Emperor's
old-
Divine bought time, and Ricardo Chewy will retreat, but it's a 4 for 3. All things said and done.
4 for 3. 1 Baron buff remaining. It's on your screen. Huge losing lullaby, as you were saying, by Arbrush, but loses the 1v1 afterwards. Echo just way too strong, and the defensive stats are, of course, not being built there from Arbrush. He's gone way towards the more damaging build. That's what happens, though, if you get that Lilia ult off onto multiple people. You hold it for as long as you can, bring that through, and it sets up so well for your full AP, maxed out W. The Watch Out Eve does so much damage if you hit it in that central damage zone. And, okay, we have ourselves a late game.
Yeah, 40 minutes, and you know what's spawning in under a minute, sir?
No, yes, Elder Dragon.
Oh, that's what you
Even
want.
yeah, even I can see that.
Alright, I was thinking about some shows that we do on Twitch. I was thinking that. That's fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that would be great. Okay, well, never mind.
Twitch plays League of Legends.
Twitch.
Oh, charge.
Charge is coming in, enough memeing. Z-Man Jr. is now in trouble. Bear dropping the road lands, but they could maybe gone a little deep. That's a root down, but the hook in response from the stronger will not land. Red buff is on from Viking. He may well need it as his Elder Dragon's body, but he's gone very deep. Will fall down. The Inferno ult comes out, but Key goes legendary. Lilia was the early game. This Echo is the late game
Way
with 5
out
items.
of position. Way out of position, Viking. Can't be walking through there. You don't have vision control. You are not the person who wants to face check. Also, I'm going to throw it out there. If you want to go for defensive, I still think that building the Aegis into the Death Stance is better than going for something like a Hex Drinker. Gives you way more defensive stats and allows you to outlive some of that burst. Either way, he's down, he's gone, and now Elder Dragon goes with it. Looks like NSK have problem solved their way in the late game, out macroed Deja Vu into a dominating position at 41 minutes.
They have the Elder Dragon, they have the Execute, they have an Echo who can seemingly do no wrong in these team fights.
power.
There is a Morellonomicon now onto this Lilia, who has got the healing reduction that is pretty critical versus a 4 Dragon Stack Elder Soul. But the game that looked pretty much in their command with how strong the Lilia was, it's not there and hasn't been for some time.
We haven't really seen the CC into CC chain. There is a QSS now on Xayah, has been for quite some time, build up to that Imperial Scimitar. But you can try it onto Graves, you can blow his spell shield, you can try it onto the Echo because it force out his ult. There are things you can blow on the side of NSK to just say, look, you're not going to have this for the team fight because our base value, particularly in terms of like the Lilia passive, if she hits anything on you now, is going to do lots of damage. Speaking of that, Lilia does throw the seed down there. It does only catch one person. What do you mean much right now?
No, and the siege now set up for natural summon killers looking to break into the base in the mid lane. Fair amount of wave clear here. Azir, Aphelios, and Lilia, no slouches if they can get into the wave. And without Baron buff behind them, I don't think they're going to want to break the base all too easily unless they go for the dive.
They have Elder. They have Elder, have Baron, they have Maokai who can reset aggro, so there is the potential. I don't think he wants to dive into the Aphelios if you can't catch him, same with Azir. Echo is pretty good at that though. Has himself all those items as you were saying and is controlling this late game. The Grace follows up with the extra bit of damage, the collateral damage, and it's quite easy to finish off those kills, particularly with the execute threshold. The question is whether Lilia can just wreck your backline once again. You dive too deep to get slept, and you don't have that way out.
Okay, so Lilia needs to find that massive Lilting Lullaby. Maybe you can find enough extended DPS with the Azir now at 4 like with the Aphelios at 3.5, but it'll be tricky. Base just gets broken into though. We said it was going to be difficult, and maybe we're made to eat our words.
You gotta time out the Baron. You said it was difficult. So I'm having no part in it.
I thought with the wave would be challenging.
Yeah, fighting against Elder, just a tad too different.
Yeah, definitely a little bit risky, but now we can see double inhibitors down, Baron spawning in under a minute. And SK well and truly in command of this late game as it stands.
Leave via the jungle camps too, making sure that Deja Vu do not have any of those available. Baron spawning in under a minute means that NSK do want to get themselves some vision control, and as you were saying, that uncontestable vision in the form of the scuttle claimed by the monster.
Okay, so you can see Deja Vu have found their way to the river, but the feathers tearing apart the hide of the volley bear there.
So yeah, but Zedman's gone for Thornmail. Why not Deadman? Again, like I get that it's good armor, but Deadman's just sit on the Bramble Vest if you want the Grievous Wounds, that's fine. Go towards the Bramble Vest if you want that extra mobility too, and maybe you'll get to actually do some damage to the side and actually get on top of one of these carries. There's a reason to build so much profile.
This is looking like the safe.
Echo's got a flank position really well. He spotted out those things.
And you can see as a result, Deja Vu Baron 3. Deja Vu giving up this Baron for free is the way we phrase
So
that.
no, this is not what happened last time. It's actually the opposite of that thing.
Indeed, I love that one a little bit. But now, with the Baron in their hands, they're going to keep shoving in.
The thing is, like, this is not just Ocean Soul, this is Ocean Soul with 4 Ocean Dragons. The amount of regen these guys have is just insane.
Okay, Baron minions here. Cannon minions firing completely onto the tower, which just falls down in an instant. Key on the flank once again, looking to try and poke out with that Time Winder. Doesn't find it. Azir Soldier comes out, gets a bit of a chunk down, but remember this is versus Ocean Soul versus 4 Ocean Drakes. Poe is not what you look for. You need to find the flash in. Ava escapes, so FaZe Rush buys time. Volibear has to ult out the Stormbringer. Looks like the Storm isn't landing all that well. Box goes down, buys time. Emperor's Defied only into the Golden King dead, who flashes over. Sleep is in. Lilting Lullaby only onto the QSS. A Papalor who finds his way out, but Viking actually finds the first. Wait, that 2 kills onto the side of Natural Summon Killers, and they'll hold on in this engage.
If you dive into Deja Vu, they have way more tools to deal with you as opposed to going aggressive, which they have struggled to do. This time, the Lilia survives Echo all in, and Key takes
too far out. He couldn't find the engage onto.
Wait, one Swell Seed might end up forcing out the ult. He's not going to go for it.
Oh, I wonder. He might look for it. I don't know whether it's on cooldown. It's not the shortest cooldown, but this late into the game, you'd think maybe.
So, an interesting thing, Arbris has actually sold Ninja Tabby for that lane matchup versus King 10, picked up the Mercury Treads to survive a little longer versus Key instead.
Also maybe just thinks, I need to be up and fighting in these fights. If I get CC'd by Maokai, Kled,
it's mainly about the Echo. It's mainly about the Echo. Echo's got an absolute target on this Lilia in these fights. We saw what happened. Forced out the flash from Arbrush, meant that at least the worst, again, as I've been saying quite a lot, the worst case scenario did not come to pass because that chunk onto Lilia came out from the... Of course, there are a lot of better case scenarios. Ones where you don't lose 2 people for 1.
Well, Key's still alive. Papalor has burned a fair amount to find his way out of danger there. The QSS and I believe Flash as well. But now, Z-Man Jr. and the rest of Deja Vu looking to come in and contest around the Elf Zone. But yeah, that's pretty big. Redemption will offer some response though. That's nice to your back.
But then you've got 3 inhibs down. They're pushing in here. Honestly, as NSK, you can just wait. You can just wait here.
Coming out, he gets slowed by the Chilling Smite, but that means that's not available for Z-Man for a little bit. They're gonna keep an eye on how many charges the Smite has, and there are now.
Yeah, Kled
into the base. That is the ult from Maokai to buy time, while the Elder Dragon is spotted by 2 men. Teleport coming out. Baron minions. Oh, not even Baron minions. Right, I think that was the interrupt on the teleport. Azir is back though, so I apologize, did manage to retreat. But Deja Vu split up Elder Dragon onto Natural Summon Killers. The Nexus is exposed. Viking down to 1/3 HP is healing back up. but Natural Summon Killers found a brilliant little bit of macro play to get themselves to the Elder Dragon, trying to find their way onto this Nexus. Are here with every minion, and they find a hook onto this King Tent. It matters not. Natural Summon Killers overcome the early lane to crush out that late game scenario.
King Tent playing the long game. Realize it doesn't matter what I do. I just have to wait for the macro forehead plays. Second Elder comes up. That spells the doom of Deja Vu, not able to rotate quickly enough and see what was happening at the end of that game. And very intriguing game one.
It was. Deja Vu had Arbush on this Lilia go to a massive lead, but it never really snowballed super far out, and then the Ocean Drake stacking started to happen. Then Ava got to a scary point. Then Key got to a scary point, and you can see the Lilia was trying 45, nearly 46,000 damage in a game, but it is versus the might of Key, who just got the damage in where it mattered.
I mean, Lilia got most of her damage through DOT over the course of the game, whereas Key was doing it in bursts to actually assassinate people. This Lilia did a lot. I do think Deja Vu could have been more aggressive when they had that huge lead. I think that they never pulled the trigger fully in terms of their CC combos. And they'll have to go back into this break, of course, that best of 5, and say, okay, what went wrong that game? We had a good lead. Let's just make sure that we can try and close out and bring this lead to bear a bit more.
Right, so a good recovery from Natural Summon Killers, who go up 1-0 in this series. But to see how it closes out and whether Deja Vu can recover or NSK clean it up, we'll find out after this break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Valence League Division 1 show match here between Deja Vu and Natural Summon Killers. Natural Summon Killers are currently up 1-0 in this series, but before we get any more into that, chat, we need to talk. We need to give you a PSA because you're wrong, frankly, and we're going to explain why you're wrong. Take it away, Nightmare.
So, so there were some comments about the Azir build in the last game, and
Shocking.
sitting on Lost Chapter being a bad thing. There is something you said about not just blindly following what pro players do. That's fine. I agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree with a degree of skepticism. Why do you sit on Lost Chapter on Azir? It's the strongest laning item for mages in the game. Azir has mana problems in lane. Gives you early CDR, which is really important for Azir
4
versus
points.
Echo.
He keeps
because
going.
if you are against something like an Echo, you want early CDR to have more soldiers, so you can use that, have 2 soldiers out clearing a wave, give you wave push, and then still have more cooldown to have another one in your ammo slot for that W to then get out with a WE combo. There are lots of reasons why it's good. You don't have to upgrade it into a Ludens because it gives you much more of a team fight dip, where if you had Nash's Tooth, you do have the more continued damage because attack speed is also very core to Azir's build. If you go for a Ludens, you may as well go for Comet instead of the Halo Blades. That wasn't the rune he went for. You couldn't go for that anyway. If you go for Comet and Ludens, your poke's nice, but then your team fight damage is very, very low. You got to go for Lost Chapter if you and then complete something like Nash's. Go into Liandry's. Honestly, the Lost Chapter doesn't need to be completed to anything because the completed Lost Chapter items are not particularly efficient on Azir.
Yeah, it's just one of those things with like AD carries get to scale off crit, off attack speed, off attack damage. Most AP mid laners scale off cooldown reduction and off your AP. Azir gets that beautiful third scaling of attack speed. You get to add in that Nash's Tooth, and he uses that so beautifully well in teamfights.
It does. I mean, there have been points in history where you had AD carries building BF Sword into a Azir item because it's not as efficient to complete an Infinity Edge. It's a similar kind of thing. Towards late game, sure, having something like a Ludens is good. Actually, there is a Seraph's Azir build. I personally hate it, but it is a build which is around. You can go towards that in some ways, but yeah, it feels very, very low damage.
All right, that's the PSA over. Chat, I hope you listened. You need to understand.
I do want to say that you shouldn't blindly follow what pros do. You should reason with what's happening. However, you have to understand the pros' reasoning first. If you just look at it and say, huh, that's bad, instead of saying it's bad because, you're skipping a couple of steps.
There we go. Say, Lost Chapter, fine on Azir.
Particularly because Azir has so much mana issues. It's just...
Yeah,
it ain't good.
Hope we all understand as we now come into game 2 here. Deja Vu on the blue side once again versus Natural Summon Killers. Lineups, as far as we can see, are unchanged, and some bans coming out, namely Zilean versus Kraden, who has a pretty absurd win rate on the Zilean down in that support pick.
You know who else has a really absurd win rate? Arbush on the Leo.
Oh,
Didn't
yeah,
help
he
him.
does.
Didn't help him. Well, it kind of did.
He
He
looked
was
pretty
the guy
good.
really keeping Deja Vu in the game 1. I think that Deja Vu were really slow to pull the trigger that game. That's the one thing I'll say about game 1. We won't harp on it about it too. Oh no, we're gonna harp on
about
Lost
Lost Chapter instead is what we're gonna do.
So I think that Deja Vu were in a position where they could initiate a lot of fights and try and blow the Zyra ultimate in a lot of different scenarios, or a whole load of different cooldowns to try and make sure that they could have some more tilted fights in the team fight.
Sure.
It's like, oh, they don't have Echo ult, they don't have Zyra ult. Really important things. I think they're a little slow to the punch on that. They didn't end up fighting around the big objectives particularly well as well, stuff like Ocean Dragon and then Baron 2. So regardless of what happens in competitions, need to see a bit more decisiveness.
Okay, so more decisiveness from Deja Vu, especially when it comes to those objective team fights. The Lilia ban, second here from Natural Summoned Killers. Understandable considering how much work Arbush put in that last game as we've been over.
Yeah, it goes banned away though. That's nice. What that does mean is that potentially you can go back towards the Azir and build Lost Chapter first. You can have a better lane matchup, one that doesn't punish the Azir so much. And this is the thing, right? Echo just punishes Azir very well, and Echo punished the Azir very well in that game. Turns out the rest of the team as well, but that is one of it's just potentially allowing. Oh, I said the word again. It allows you to lock in an Azir early, maybe on blue 2, blue 3, use it as a blind pick, and not really worry about your lane matchup. Volibear first pick. That's fair.
Is flexible. Z-Man Jr. plays it, so does Arbush. Need to see where it goes this time around. Of course, there's no Lilia this time to make it that kind of pseudo flex they were looking for the last game. Now we've got to see what Natural Summon Killers want to lock in. They're hovering the Singe, but that would be a bold first pick, so I doubt it.
A long time since Singe was particularly strong.
Impact would love it.
Sure he would do. They're going to go towards the Graves. That's fine. Ava did pretty well on that pick. Did notable damage. Was around for that bot lane counter gank. That was very important. Stopped his bot lane from dying when that was a very nice lantern gank. Didn't even have to use the flash to close the distance from Stronger. I think Stronger had a very good early game. His team fights were a little bit awkward. His boxes were very good. I think that when you looked at the Cloud and the Echo trying to run forward and then get that 90% slow slapped on them, very, very good from Stronger.
Yeah, okay, so lock in the grave. The Warwick Hover, alas, not locked in. It will be the Maokai. We already know the natural summon killers flex that between top lane and bot lane. Kraden picked it up the last game, so definitely room for that to happen one more time. Deja Vu might want to look towards an AD carry here, I suppose. Bot lane duo is often the blue 2-3 go-to.
Look, Varus locked in.
Leona, it's a lot of lockdown.
It is. Varus isn't a particularly good champion right now. You can go towards on hit. That's okay. You're also okay at peeling off someone like a Maokai. I'd imagine this is more of a comfort pick rather than a tier
going
list
back
pick.
to Spring Split? Because I'm seeing a Misfortune Hover, and I'm getting serious throwbacks. Maybe Echo Chrono broke a little late in the last game and took us back a few patches.
I would prefer the Kai'Sa if it's locked in. I think that Kai'Sa has way more ways to escape. It's going to be the Jhin.
Okay.
I like that. Jhin is really good versus a lot of AD carries. With Ashe and Caitlyn off the table, Jhin is probably one of the strongest laning AD carries in the game right now. He has a lot of point and click damage, so even stuff like Kalista can't deal with him. And you have the range to follow up on. So you have the Maokai route into the Jhin W. Really, really strong combo.
Okay, Maokai route into Jhin W is what we're looking for. If that's the bot lane duo they go towards, could not be Wakanda Chewy's. Ari banned away again, and Nymera is once again left heartbroken. No chance to flame Wakanda for his particular mechanics on that champion.
Why do I even cast Deja Vu if you're just going to ban the reason I cast them?
Well, take it up with them. It wasn't Deja Vu who banned it. It was Natural Summon Killers who did. So.
That's what I'm saying. Why do I even get to cast them if you're going to like?
That's true. Okay, I'm with you now. I'm with you now.
It's
I follow the
NSK putting me out of a job.
Well, they're just killing your job, quite literally. It's in their name.
That's the one. Vladimir ban. That would be... So, the thing here is that you have really heavy engage from Deja Vu already. Maokai is one of the better disengaged picks in the game, because you run into his ult, and you don't really get to say much about it. So, banning out the Vlad, also really good against people that very heavy dive and are low range compositions, because if someone hard commits and it's not onto the Vladimir, then you get to turn around your ult and just really just destroy the backline.
Okay. Last ban here, Malphite was taken away by NSK. We know that is definitely an option. The Orianna, notably, is currently still up, and we know
that's
he's
a big
very
one.
good Ori.
I think you would like to ban that because, again, Ori is really good against... it's gone. It's really good against low-range initiation comms. So the Leona comes in, the Volibear runs in, you just shockwave him away. Again, but in Orianna's case, you can get caught out easier, so Leona can just drop the ult on you if you don't have Cleanse, don't have Banshee's Veil or something. Same thing with the Varus, right? But it just means that once you're in that fight and the shock, you've kind of piled in. You need to win the fight first couple of seconds, otherwise that shockwave comes in and turns it right the way back around.
You also have like dedicated ball delivery system with the Maokai, right? Like it's super easy to get that ball into.
It's not quite as easy as that. I mean, it's okay, but you don't have the same AoE CC to... Or someone like a Zac or a Malphite that can lock everyone. You only get to lock the one person in place. It's still good for a single pick. It's not the best ball delivery, though.
I mean, I'll put Nature's Grasp is not a bad way of locking down a whole team.
If you're going forwards, it's too slow. You have to come from behind them at that point. Definitely and that means that you don't really get the E if the Orianna's not positionable. I think I would trust higher level teams to do that. I think that Maokai can be quite hard to be ball delivery system in... And of course, I mean, the Orianna's banned anyway. It doesn't matter.
So there we go. Wouldn't have mattered. I
think Maokai's not in the S tier. He's okay. He's good. He gets into this thick of things. That's good enough. But it's not the S tier of like Zac Malphite.
Sure. Okay, so there is the Nymera tier lift of Orianna ball carriers. Either way, it's not really going to matter because Orianna is out. We do still have balls in the game, namely speaking Syndra. The Dark Lord is back. All hail she who must not be named, and it will be locked in alongside Olaf.
Wait, well, I'm trying to think of a book title for this. It's like Harry Potter and the Deadly Midlanders.
And the Unleashed Power of Azkaban.
Maybe we should write a book series about this. I hear that sounds like a really good title. No one's ever done that before.
No one's ever made it. So we'd have like a magic school where people compete in challenges over the course of a number of games to come out on top.
Yeah.
Like a tournament.
Yeah, like one with like which is really fast paced. You could call
Yeah,
it like
yeah,
a
yeah.
blitz.
Yeah, exactly. And like you could call it like or yeah, that's great. Or we could call it like the Penta Summoner Cup.
Okay,
Alright,
right. Let's
alright.
talk about the Victor. That's an important thing.
It is. Tell me about Victor.
Gravity Field, really good zoning tool, really good disengage tool. If you go too deep, same with the Shockwave, not quite as impactful because you don't have a buttload amount. You know, buttload is actually a measurement, by the way.
How much is a buttload?
So you know, like you have kegs and barrels.
Yes.
Yes. A butt is the largest form of measurement for like the wooden containers which wine
Ah.
come in. I was gonna talk about Victor. Now I'm just talking about the way you can. So
You
can
see, like you decided just to devolve and talk about butts.
That's what I do.
Yeah,
That's
just
what I
love
do.
butts.
Yep. Okay. I can do pirates. Talk about booty.
Booty. There is no pirates in this game though, so we have to move on and talk about
Damn.
Victor versus Cinder instead.
But there's Sam. There's Graves. Graves. He's a pirate, kind of.
He's
He's a build water guy.
Yeah,
If
okay.
it's Cutthroat Graves.
That's fair.
We will
If
see.
it's Cutthroat Graves, I'll give it
No,
to you.
okay, Victor, let's get back on topic. Right. So, Victor, Gravity Field, really, really good. Zone control, really, really good. Disengage. If you over-engage into a Victor and the initial engage doesn't catch him, you are stunned in place as someone like a Volibear or Leona, and things get pretty bad. He has to take Phase Rush this game, I think, because Olaf doesn't give a crap about that, because he has an ultimate. It's Ragnarok. He just runs you down. If Victor gets sufficiently fed enough, Jhin and Victor don't have much they can say about it. And Set obviously can't shuffle him out. His ult stops even the suppression of that. Although he has to, I think he has to time it before he goes airborne. I think that's how it works.
Okay, so that is the timing on it. Keep your eyes out. Seen both comps, it is front to back again for Deja Vu. Not dissimilar again for NSK, but they're looking at Victor and Jhin as their kind of duo over the Syndra Varus.
You know, I'm actually not sure I can call this game until I see summoners, because if we have double cleanse on the side of NSK, I favor them. If they don't, I think that the team fights can be one off of like 1 or 2 skill shots from Deja Vu. You hit the Varus ult, you hit the Leona ult, you hit a skill shot from Scout of the Week from Syndra. Syndra's been nerfed a bit, don't get me wrong, not as strong as she used to be, but just having 3 long-range initiation tools with like 2 or 3 run-at-you champions, it means that this backline of NSK is never truly safe. And it kind of then relies on Set barreling someone out the fight, having really good Jhin Ws to lock up someone like Leona or the Volibear. Of course, doesn't work so well on the Olaf. And the Maokai just throwing the ult out. If we have a lot of cleanses or early QSSs from NSK, it does get very hard to use that as your win condition, because that is what your comp does. And then if you have to start problem solving on the fly, if you don't have that same ability from the side of Deja Vu, so I'll be looking to see, again, if it comes to that, what do? Because in first game, they would not quick pull the trigger. They were looking for the opportune fight. They never really found it, and therefore slid to a late game loss because they gave up too many objectives. Is that going to happen again? Because there are the like-for-like junglers, very farm heavy Olaf and Graves. Maybe that changes some things.
What I'll say as well is there is just easier triggers to pull, right? Like it's less committal this time when you can throw out a solar flare looking for the engage, throw out the Syndra Scatter the Weeks
instead of having to slide in for a shuffle or get into the thing.
Run in and volley.
Literally last game it was you throw a swell seed and you have a Lily roll, and you want to save that later into the fight so you can threaten the Xayah, because if the sleep's down then Xayah's free to free hit, and that happened, and Echo was just running around like a man on fire. Chicken with his head cut off. Lots of morbid references.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I really didn't want to dump that on you. I was like,
you did kind of just dump a headless chicken on my lap, and I've got to kind of deal with this segue.
It's my room. I really don't want like
There's blood everywhere, man. It's pretty awful.
It's
It's like The Godfather with a horse head in the bed. You not seen that scene?
You know, I've never seen The Godfather.
I don't think I have either. I've seen that scene though.
Oh, I have not seen that scene. I've seen like you come to me on the
Yeah, okay. Come to me on the night of Division 1 Deja Vu versus Natural Summon Kills and asked me to cast the series.
There are no cleanses for NSK.
Oh dear. Okay, so we say oh dear because Naimera was saying that would
really
be super
important.
key. And remember Papalor didn't run the cleanse in the last game either, went for the heal, and we said that could be concerning, had to burn
Okay,
all
so this
4
is the
summoners
thing,
early.
right?
But
Yeah, again, at a high level of play, I'd be like, okay, cleanse is very, very necessary, but that's also when you have teams which are very on top of their vision game and know exactly when they're leveling up and when they can start making plays. Is it going to be as soon as level 6 is hit, right the way through until the QSS is hit, these two are going to be in danger and you can start forcing fights and force people off of objectives to get yourself an early game lead? Well, I want to see that from Deja Vu. I want to see them try and focus on that. However, if it does get to the point where you can get Banshees onto Victor and QSS onto Jin, maybe some Merc Treads involved too, then and that obviously depends on NSK being able to like survive through to that point. Be very good from them too.
Okay, well, we're gonna throw to a quick video, and we'll be right back as we're coming onto the Rift.
Welcome to
And
Summoner's
we're back.
Rift.
Video number 2 out of the way. Feel the hype, I'm sure, as it is a 5-man stack here for NSK.
30
Looking to come
seconds until
into
the
the
end.
box
Two
level.
5-man stacks.
But they've done it on the opposite side as well. You're absolutely right, and nothing's going to be found on either side, but there will be deep vision. NSK? Yeah, they're just going to pull away. They're not actually going to go for the deep wards, whereas Deja Vu actually are.
Gonna throw this out there. Better level 1 from Deja Vu. They have an Olaf, as well as a CC support. The Maokai can do lots of nice stuff, cool, but when you have the Olaf continually throwing axes and running people down, that is very, very dangerous. I think NSK, if they run into a 5-man stack of Deja Vu, lose that. They're looking for the single pick, but it doesn't end up working that way, and we have ourselves, as you were saying, a bit of pressure traded, but now Graves is going to walk up with Set here.
They've been spotted on that ward. Set Graves versus Volibear Olaf. King 10 walks in. That's going to be a bit sad, but the Facebreaker lands double stun coming over. But Wakanda Chewy now roaming up, gets the spear down. And the Undertows, the landing forces King 10 to flash away. Now Key has roamed up, but this red buff taken pretty low. Fair amount of damage coming out. Dark Spheres are a bit threatening, as is the Death Blaze. Of course, it's not the second activation without the Hex Core upgrade.
Wait,
Vu
Olaf's
will
going
be
back.
forced- He is going back. He needs to be very careful here. And Z-Man does have a flash. Let's try and get the smite.
No!
Oh my days, it resets!
No!
Oh, that's so sad. Double flash burn, nothing found, but the phase rush and Z-Man Jr.
He's kiting!
He's trying. He's desperately trying. Gets an undertow finally, but that was one of the most entertaining level 1s I've seen in some time.
I'm so tilted for him. I'm so they
The
both
double reset.
They both smite him. They both smited and neither of them got it. Graves is still level 1. It's not even like it's a. Okay, alright. So
Darkness, my old friend.
Oh my
Red buff reset once again.
that's. I don't have to do that.
Ah.
So Graves goes.
Softly smiting. Left
So
my
Graves-
jungle while I
Graves-
was kiting.
Graves goes back to finish the red buff, and actually it's not that much of a delayed start from Olaf either. He's going to be 1 camp behind as opposed to like a full jump side. I think that won't lead to both Scufflecrafts being taken one
King
step. Oh,
Set
jeez.
taken
He has no flash.
very
He has no
low.
flash.
Doesn't have Haymaker second, so there's no shield. And Arbush gets the 1v1 solo kill. First blood means Jackal
Yeah.
when you die that early on.
Maybe it's not the Lilia which was the problem. Maybe it's just Arbrush is really good. He goes in for the solo kill, knows that there's no flash. Even with the item advantage that King Tren had, King 10, whatever. We have a river near us at home called the Tren. Anyway, right.
That was significantly more niche than I was expecting.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm just like, I'm going to all the file. I'm like, wow, so much weird stuff happened. I've got to like revert to my baser instincts. Like, okay, let's go back to childhood memories. Anyway, so Arbrush goes and gets the 1v1 solo kill. Congrats, has teleport to get back to the lane. Has himself more XP after getting more of those minions. Whereas on the bot side, definitely not more minions, except there's like 3 died a tower there, Viking.
Alrighty then, waves even in the bot side, roughly speaking. Okay, so we
saw that too.
Yes, I did. I didn't want to comment too much, but alas, it will be Polar Bear versus Drop Bear
You missed
action on the
another
top
one.
side. Stop it. Polar Bear versus Drop Bear action on the top side, or rather, Elbow Drop Bear. Set down 14 CS currently as he lost a whole wave turret. He teleports back from both of those laners, and so it'll be kind of even Stevens as far as items go early on, but level 4 to level 2 thus far.
Arbrush going for the Mana Crystal, which I assume is going towards Triforce. Ice Gold, but now I realize, yes, Sheen built from that anyway. Surprised that over a longsword, but I guess early laning pressure is quite nice. Graves wants some beans with pause.
Graves?
So says the chat.
Wants some beans. That is what Ava wants. Beans. Or camps or kills. Beans. What kind of beans? Lima beans?
Ah, yes. Okay, so
Raw
Key,
beans?
Key has left to download more RAM.
Downloading RAM, yeah, of course.
How much dedicated RAM do you need?
That's a good question. Are we talking like a goat RAM or a sheep RAM?
Or
They're
all
both,
RAM.
all RAM, yeah.
That's
definitely
that. No,
actually-
that's
what.
maybe
That's
stupid.
actually what makes your computer work. It's called the Forge Gods on your motherboard.
You hear like all this whirring sounds. It's just many Call of the Forge gods just continually
They're
overlapping.
like really quiet, but they're loud enough to make a big whirring sound.
See in the
That's it.
distance.
A summoner
Yep.
has reconnected.
God, to think there's that much CC in my PC.
CC in the PC causes a DC.
Uh-huh.
Specifically from, I think it was Ava. Difficult to know. Either way, RAM is being downloaded. We hope.
No,
for the
no,
best.
it was Key that DC.
Okay.
So.
Needed an activation key for his PC. League of Legends isn't working unless you have that code. Very important.
Has anyone got a
Need-
D? Has
need to
anyone
go
got
look at the manual. Anyone
has-
got the
has
manual?
anyone-
You check for the
Has
the
anyone
code
got
on
a, Has anyone got League of Legends DRM free edition? Okay, looks like we're back. Going into it soon.
Okay.
Sorry, I was waiting for you to pick that up and run with it. Just
Sounds
anything.
good. Just there on the floor. Much like your PC. In fact, it's on the floor.
Yeah. What,
Not
Great.
elevated. It's not got the best ventilation there as a result.
I'm sorry. I'll hammer it onto my wall next.
Yeah, that's exactly.
You
the
know,
plan.
there are some really cool caseless PCs where you do just put them on a wall.
That
So,
is actually does sound quite cool.
a full battle station.
I'm kind of okay with that. Honestly.
Yeah, it does. I mean, like I say, it's pretty okay.
All right. So, resume gameplay. RAM officially downloaded. All within PC. Sounds like a horrible slave deal for this awful.
Wow, Sam.
Chain within PC to allow League of Legends to run. There's
Very morbid.
definitely a lore story in there, I'm sure. Graham McNeil, head on.
Well, we're onto this again. Okay. Alright,
Alright.
so diving the top side, making things even worse for 10.
Level 5 versus level 3, the stun, but the Sky Splitter by shields. The Haymaker shield is there, but true damage means jack all. And actually, no, Z-Man! You don't have flash and oh, well, that's... okay, well, Wave lost a turret, that's something, but...
So I love the next level, throw an axe, take one turret shot, run out of aggro, we'll let your Volibear take aggro, and then... Okay. The wave attack crashes in. Oh,
Okay,
this could be
Scum back,
shield.
actually does the Sky Splitter! Arbiter turns it around! Graves takes the S off his name. Finds himself back in base far too early for his life.
Takes 2 turret shots for it. The wave crash is the big thing here. I know that a lot of people talk about freezing and saying, hey, you can deny people out so much. But if you build up a huge wave and then dive the player, they die, they lose the entirety of those waves to turn. The enemy top lane gets to kill gold too, and they get a fight dead as well. Arbrush is so far ahead in this game, and actually he is going for the ultimate conflict. That is actually going to be the local Shroud.
Honestly, versus Set, Graves topside, and a Jhin, who is not necessarily the best tank killer to begin with, I think that's really smart.
I like Triforce and Volibear.
I mean, so do I. But I think it's cool we get some adaptation.
Yeah, I mean, that's how he does in the game, right? It potentially, it allows you to pipe down a bit more with these slugs. I'm sorry, it's my
And
word
the
of
stack
today.
up.
It is my word of today. I just can't stop. With the Ocean Drake added in, very nice for a little bit of laning space. Sometimes you get mana. That used to be the old, really annoying thing where you just, you get it and then you never lose lane again. Oh, look at that. He's level 4 to level 6.
Yeah, level 4 to level 6.
Wait, he's
There's
gonna
a
get done.
Haymaker there.
He's gonna get done.
Oh,
Let's
well,
look at this.
yeah.
Look at this. Goodbye.
Goodbye. There is the ult. It does flash away from it, but it just means that Arbus finds another
Wrecker. Hey.
3-0-1 on this Volibear. It probably is. And let's also put this out. It is 41 CS to 16 right now. Set flashing pinged in chat, and Ava at least steals away a blue buff. That's good news. Been playing pretty well frankly across the series, but
Yeah, he's been- yeah.
Arbush is out to a crushing start one more time versus King 10.
He has enough gold to go back and get himself the other get himself take. Oh wait, and then he takes one after the shield's gone. Look at the mechanic. This is how you solo kill 3 times. Not 3 times.
Well, that's the mechanic. I found it again. What is going on?
Look, how do you become as good a top lane as Arbrush? You take turret shots. It's a real alpha thing.
It is. That's exactly it. Take as many turret shots as you possibly can without dying to tilt the opposing top lane off the face of the stage.
I do think that Arbrush is playing really, really well, and in this game, it's much easier for him to abuse his lead in team fights. Lilia last game, we talked about how it was kind of hard. So I'm hoping that Arbrush has the chance to use his own go button rather than having to hold on to the Lilia roll or something like that for a much longer period of time. So I'm quietly quite hopeful for Deja Vu. They have themselves that early lead, gold the other lane's going relatively, the 2 deaths and no left behind the side. Still, nice for Arbrush to be ahead on his own, like, not a champion that can do it.
Steal away another buff early on though. Hey! Never mind, Viking.
What you talking about? No stealing.
With a fabulous piercing arrow to secure red buff and prevent the invade working out all that well. And all this time, Zayman Jr. and Arbrush will find their way onto the Rift Herald and it's spawned and secured.
You know why he stole that? He uses W active on his arrow.
That's a really powerful ability. That W active, very long cooldown, 30 seconds.
No, 45.
45 seconds this early.
Really long.
Well. I down about 30, but you know, I'll take that. But that's
earlier ranks, yeah. In fact, let me check. I will
wiki it away. Z-Man Jr. will come up and clear out this pink ward. And remember, Set hasn't even hit level 6 yet. Volibear has ultimate one more time and has 3 levels to his name with an Iceborne Gauntlet that was completed at 7.5 minutes.
His own teammate's mid laner is 3 levels up.
Right, there's level 6. Okay, so there's a showstopper available. We'll burn it out. Now he's outside of power range. And that was a very poor choice. The Haymaker buys time, but it's not enough. A Rampage. And Set, outside of the showstopper, doesn't really have a way to escape all that well. The Iceborne Gauntlet, for all that we're trying to say, unusual item choice. An early power spike, it slows, it's a Rift Herald summon, it's most of this turret gone already, and stunned is Ava, who now has to flash out with a flash in for Z-Man Jr. Flash for Arbrush to secure that kill, and Triumph Feeling means that 5-0-1 is the Volibear. And he has 100% kill participation and natural summon killers. You need to go and find yourself an elephant gun, never mind a regular hunting rifle, because this Volibear is terrified. Flash Death Ray misses! Woo! Oh, it doesn't matter though, we'll at least get the shutdown, but Syndra secures a kill. But that's a big shutdown goal onto the Victor.
It's pretty huge there, and well, Volibear is really good at tower diving. Olaf picks up some gold as well, very important. We talked about how he was falling behind, still 20 CS down against a like-for-like champion in the Graves. He would have just been doing Graves' job this game, but worse than the opposing jungler, which would have felt a little bit awkward for him. Both warriors now completed, and of course the Victor dying means that he loses some charm along the way, doesn't have his health up, not where it's trying to go. Don't teleport, picks up a kill, he's feeling pretty happy for himself.
So, Volibear going towards Black Cleaver second, by the way, and is now, so far ahead of this Set, it kind of hurts to look at. On the other side, though, it's pretty much even in the bot side, and it is an advantage to Wakara Chewy on this Syndra. Did pick up the kill, picked up the extra wave, but was lost.
It is.
There we go. Ooh, second cooldown. Damn long. Like well to have some CDR.
We'll be back. Since it took me so long to look here.
I'll tell you why that is. Why I had it right. It's because like play Barrett, poke Barrett on when you have the CDR. That's why I got it wrong.
On the Varus though, it is the Leech Stepper, so we're not going to have that. Your poke still is okay, it's still fine, but it's not the same level as you're leaving this team fight now.
Okay, so second break about to spawn. Volibear does not have a teleport, but has thrown down, and yeah, it's a Cloud Dragon.
So actually, the remaining two, the Infernal and Mountain, very valuable. They have range advantage and they have. Well, Leona is a higher level than the jungler because this Olaf has not been farming particularly efficiently. Having a lot of camps taken away, and being more involved in fights than Graves, whereas Graves has been kind of diverting to their regular farming path.
And of course there was the botched invade that went pretty well for everybody involved. We managed to find a number of people down this bot side will avoid the deadly flourish, but now Ava chasing down, got Phase Rush active. But Volibear is here as well, and that ultimate from Maokai doesn't block them off. But Arbrush now looking for King 10, but gets Showstopper out. It's a 4v1 right now, and that's a massive shutdown onto Arbrush. I believe actually he's already gone, but either way, Graves picks up that kill, and Ava on this Graves still looking pretty strong.
A tad disrespectful from Arbrush not to use his ult before everything comes in. This is also what happens when you go for something like an Iceborne Gauntlet and don't have any of that extra HP coming in. The Phage was there, the Tabi was there. He's still relatively tanky, but he did need to ult early. He's being trapped into 3 people, not necessarily the happiest position top lane.
He finds Graves. That's an unleashed power, not quite enough damage. The W, not enough to finish him off either. Flash out from Wakanda. Ava definitely flexing his muscles over the last couple of games.
And he's ahead of the enemy jungler, and he is showing that he can use that very effectively. Whereas Olaf having to pick up the dregs of this mid lane wave as his mid laner resets and comes back into lane. Gonna have to see what happens with the top side of this map. We don't have a Herald for the next minute and a half, but Arbrush is back on the map. Looks like he's going towards the back cleaver second.
Yes, is that was definitely the right choice. It will be good with Crystal Sheet, so Invasion Infantry definitely going back away, and with Ruby Crystal foiled into the single damage as well. Definitely makes sense. Full shot loaded for Papa Lord, but definitely staying away from that R Viking at the moment for now.
I definitely prefer Triforce on Volibear. I just think it gives you so much healing potential. Even just the move speed you get from the face passive. I know you're getting it now from the Black Cleaver, but Volibear does so much mixed damage. She has a lot of magic damage from his abilities. The Black Cleaver doesn't even need complement the entirety of your kit. It works with the Baron, but Olaf will build it extra. You go on second item. So it's not like you're going to have it a massive amount of time for the Olaf, even though he is going to this game. Blastman not a block.
Viking does avoid the deadly flurry. Careful is out. The law puts the law into Viking and definitely falls down with a bullet to the face.
I'm going to throw it out there. Syndra's not roaming down, and you know that your Olaf's on top, but you have 0 wards in your team. Their mid is AFK. Well, MMA, not he's out of lane, so I think it's very disrespectful for Viking to walk up there. He does get punished, so good run from Kianeva, and it is buying back a little bit of the bot side lead for them, even though the top lane still very much in the favour.
Okay, so 8, so we're looking at about 18,000 gold lead right now for Deja Vu early on into the game. They've got the early herald, they've got the Whitney got the use already, and never mind that, going down before the kill complete. Flash on Papa Lord, who tried to get that with the Ragnarok, but Papa Lord does manage to get out with a flash of his own. Maokai trying to get in close for a twisted advance. Arbor tanks at the tower.
Flash
volley Q, and that will be a dead Olaf, and now Arbor caught in a 1v3 with Gravity Field coming down as well, but Flash out onto Granite. Gets another stun. The Sky Splitter coming out as well. This Volibear is running away with it. Gets double in the 1v4.
He's got a red buff to worry about now, but with the Ice Boy, he's trying to try.
He's going to try and get to the Sky Splitter. The shield out. Not quite that the heal is around, but the Flash, the phase rush, it might be enough. The slow, but he gets it. 3 kills! Arbus, you are a god in the top side of this map.
I take it back. Maybe the Ice Bomb's really good. Oh, really close to Ricardo Shuri there as well. Arbus playing such a good game. He tanks the turn so the Olaf could get out from underneath the turret, forcing out a round of abilities not onto himself but onto the jungler, and another axe come through for that damage. He then turns it around with a series of unfortunate events there for NSK, as this top lane is going so in the favor of Arbush.
No, we're talking about Graham McNeil, but has Riot hired Lemony Snicket? Because that was something in the top side. Unfortunate events lead to a Black Cleaver completed for this Volibear. Negatron Cloak in inventory as well, looking to get himself towards some AP tank
With
as well. Yeah, may well be looking for that, and oh man, I know obviously the 8 kills will make a lot of item builds look good, but the Iceborne slows down pretty good.
Chat, you know how you were flaming Wakata Chewy for a lost chapter on Azir? Can you now do the same for Arbush with whatever this is? There's a time and a place!
Oh, Corrupted Arrow comes out and Jin falls down, had no flash, no heal from the last time. Crowdman falls well, Narbush on the rampage. That'll be third Drake sure to go over to Deja Vu, who went to compete around this Dragon River and really regretted that choice. Now Ava having to run away, avoids the Dark Sphere, but not the Scatter the Weak, not the Unleashed Power, and Ava cannot stand before it. Voldemort claims another, yelling about Kadama in the mid lane.
Okay, I'm not going to get started on that one. Mountain Dragon to the side of Deja Vu, important because there are a lot of resists, particularly on that Volibear, who is the man to beat right now. He's got the armor from the Iceborne Gauntlet and the magic resist from the Negatron Cloak. He's got lots of different resists, a lot of HP to give him that very large effect of HP. More percentage, defensive stats on top of that. Very happy for that top lane.
Right, well, that'll be third Drake and second Herald about to be started up as well. It's all going well.
And importantly, also, Olaf is now ahead of the team, managing to steal some camps on the other side of the field.
It is a 3v2 split. Olaf down, sort of shadowing this volley there, especially while they know the resets are in. Homewreckers available, and they're looking to try and get onto King Ten, who is down 3 levels, but Z-Man Jr. decided it might have been a bit risky.
He just used the face breaker. I honestly think he
could've
just
gone
gone
there.
straight into it.
Definitely room. There would have been Showstopper Flash,
Oh
Haymaker.
my word, he's not even got a blade yet. He's got himself, he doesn't have a build rolling. He is still, wait, how much health do you have?
No.
He doesn't even have golden inventory for a blade.
Oh gosh, hang on, can we just, if we could flick over and have a look at those total goals, that is 9,782 gold versus not even 5,000 gold per set.
That's almost double gold.
That's 4,000 gold up at 18 minutes into the game.
That's huge. You rarely see that kind of lead. Maybe in like a support,
See,
maybe
that's a
pike-
team lead and it's gone
maybe,
wrong.
maybe like as a pike against your enemy's support, you get a weird amount of gold. This is not that. You've got 2 high economy complex with strong laning phase. Seth does have strong laning phase. He's just been outplayed, and Arbor alongside Third Man as well on this Olaf has been really abusing the set lane. Of course, it's not just that Arbor's been playing well, but after that level 1, the flash.
Yes, and this is something, the problem is we haven't seen Set in the top lane for a while consistently, is because actually a lot of the matchups he used to be able to dominate, he can't much anymore. And Volibear, with his rework coming into the top lane, is kind of the new king of that move on the top side. Just doing what he does better right now.
I agree. 2 kills on the time shoot. What about that too?
Not
I guess
again.
he's probably going
Oh,
to
he's
be a
looking for the showstopper, can't find it. There is the Stormbringer. Facebreaker doesn't even get to come out, and the only face broken will be Sets. Boss of what? Not even your own boss right now.
Yes, no, well, Arbor's your boss. I think you'll
Look
find.
at me. Look at me, I'm the boss now.
So you're going to this meeting in bot lane at this timestamp, and you will have this at your 3 o'clock. And
Yeah, Set knows whose his mama is, but I think Volibear is making a good shout out. Suggests he's his daddy right now. It's gone all wrong in the
Mary
top
Poppins,
done,
y'all. Sometimes it really do happen that way.
Spoonful of sugar helps the Volibear fist go down to your face, gets broken apart in that fight.
That's a very vivid image.
Yeah, 2 punchy guys. It turns out Volibear punches harder right now.
The battle of the one punch man is the bear.
It's the bear. They're like man versus bear. Bear wins. Who would guess?
I think that a really big thing is that next time the ultimate for Arbor, he has 40% CDR up.
Jason Crutch land flash in with the Ragnarok, and Papa Law is dead. It will be collateral damage coming out of
Set's
Secure.
dead again.
Set's dead again. You're right. Somewhere off screen, he died. I'm assuming it's not Arbor.
Syndra.
Syndra kills him. Oh dear.
This is what happens. This is what happens when you don't take cleanse on your character. This is why I said it right from the off. Not really sure I want to call it until I see where the cleanses are. And to be honest, at this point, you have to build so many items to get the damage to team fight your way back into the game. You're not really at liberty to build a Banshees or a QSS.
Witch End's in.
Witch End's in as well. So
Witch out. Excuse me, need to check for tilt because my screen is turned 90 degrees.
yeah, no, it's I believe it's just some audio issues, which is always a scary thing.
Definitely is. Deja Vu. Set's been in this lane before, and he didn't like it very much.
I do think that I like what Deja Vu have been doing. I think that potential they could have looked for more pick plays with their long range DC, and that's the first time we've really seen that combo work out. Isolated from huge team dives with the Volibear just doing horrible things. Honestly, he might be going for a Righteous Glory last, 5th item, and I would really support that. That would be really funny.
That's a lot of attack speed he's got now as well with the Wit's End. Like, his on-hit damage is surprisingly high.
But the thing is, he's got it's on-hit magic damage from the Wit's End, which isn't affected by the Black Cleaver at all. They have no interaction besides you attack quicker to stack it up quicker. Just go Triforce, guys. Please.
I mean, remember,
really don't.
Volibear's
I know, I
the
see-
Relentless Storm every time he attacks, every time he uses his abilities,
not
he gets
physical.
attack speed.
That's not physical.
Wit's End attack speed.
Yeah.
Plus all those autos,
No,
getting all those
I-
consistent
honestly,
Iceborne Gauntlet
I
slows.
don't care about the Wit's End. I care more about the Black Cleaver. Well, I don't even like.
Okay,
I,
no.
I don't.
With the attack speed as well, like, listen, hear it out. This is the mad genius. You get more attack speed the more you attack and use your abilities.
Sam,
You increase that as well.
Sam, if you-
stack Black Cleaver so fast, you get those Iceborne slows so fast.
So, if you give Iceborne Gauntlet Aftershock Talon to Faker, he's still going to do okay on it.
Look, I'm giving a poop eating grin here. This is very facetious. I'm aware it's not that great, but like the synergy I suppose is there.
Okay, looks like we are going back into game. It's sooner rather than later. The ready checks being thrown out. Righteous Glory onto Olaf. So that will be... So no Triforce Olaf in the jungle.
Yeah, turns out the summoned killer for natural summoned killers was
Wait,
in
well,
fact Volibear in the top lane.
Maybe
Really wish he wasn't.
Maybe that's it. Maybe because in game 1 we were flaming so hard that the jungle Volibear went for Triforce. Arbrosh was like, oh, you know, I really don't want to get flamed this game. I can't build Triforce and Volibear at all.
You're not safe.
You're not
Global
safe.
warming means ice caps melt. Volibear's in trouble.
This is like Ice Age 4. Wait, there was an Ice. There was a 4.
Was an Ice
It's
Age
the next Ice. Wait, well, when did it stop? Is it still going?
Honestly, don't know. The thing is, they still make money on it. I'll tell you why. Because they already have all the models and stuff, so the animation budget,
yeah.
you don't need to have that much budget to make an Ice Age movie anymore. So all you need to really do is use the models you already have, and
Oh, that's a really good point.
because you've already got like, the framework and the stuff done for it.
Fun fact.
So sorry, I was hearing from some animation, for instance. You know, you're hiring the voice.
It's also why, I mean, when you look, well, you know, we're talking about, well, it's talking about how games are going to work in the next couple of years, and it looks like, well, we have Dragon Ball soon, but we can talk about it. Like, if you look at Final Fantasy VII Rework, they already made that. If they want to make another 2-3 games to continue the story, the game is already there. They just have to, like, update. They'll have to add in some extra bits. It's only mostly that. The dev cost is not That's quite happening, by the way.
Yeah, it's quite happening. Sort of. It's more like Deja Vu walking up and saying, "This is our jungle now," and that's going, "But we want you not to be there," and throwing some abilities to do some damage. And I'm done onto Graves. Has gone towards the end of the night first, worth pointing out.
Wait, Olaf 1v1's this.
Finds the slow on a King 10. That is a stun. The Haymaker still comes up with 2 damage. Does nothing. Volibear now going in, but Olaf is actually great. Now, but as he's gone very deep, has to flash out. Not that tanking the Solar Flare in the back end. The unleashed power, and it's stronger. Gets the kill onto Graves, and yeah, Volibear is the main threat. But there's the rest of the team. There's a Syndra at 5-0-2 now. 5-1. Z-Man Jr. falls, but the rest of Deja Vu clean house and natural summon killers. Yeah, they summoned the killers. It turns out it's called Deja Vu.
Lots of kills coming in to the side of Deja Vu. Arbrosh nearly got burst out there. Not nearly as tanky as he wants to be. I use the word again. He's going to get himself a Mountain Soul, though, and that will help him out in his endeavors. Have that extra shield on top, looking very, very good. I think it's going to be game 3.
8. It is 10,000 gold at 22 minutes. It is a Mountain Soul. It is 5 turrets. It is a Volibear that even if he gets knocked out, still has a lot of damage from his carries behind him to throw out that Syndra. Going towards Spellbinder second, sure to pick that up on the retreat here.
And that's important because this team is going to be going so far forward so fast that the extra movement speed and the extra we get from the active Spellbinder will be very important to determine whether this Syndra can keep range and get that phaser attack active and then run through the fight with the Olaf forward. We saw that if you ult, so in these choke points, if you Q ult and then you have a scatter of the week afterwards, that AoE stun is going to do so much work. It did there, it stunned out like the Victor on the back end of it, and just it means that the bruises on your team can close the distance even more. Also, hilarious attack speed after Barret actually gets the last hit on some.
Oh yeah, Rage Blades in
Yeah.
with Blades.
The animation makes it such a like a drawback animation. He's just like flinging his arms about, dude.
He's air guitaring on that particular bow. Either way, Baron is now the set.
No, there's both the violin.
I mean,
Air cello.
sure. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Don't you use my own like deflection technique against me?
I love that.
Oh, he's very fast.
Olaf, good lord. Ragnarok comes out, King's like, oh, no. Wait, King Ted now coming in, but I'm not sure being a level down. He actually wins this still, gets the showstopper, but you're going further away from your team. The Haymaker 2 damage is avoided, so Zenith's Blade comes out, and Viking will get a kill onto Set. And, well, turns out the Viking invaders definitely do a lot of work on the boss.
Yeah, this is Lindisfarne all over again. Really not looking so good for NSK. They are at this point in the game when you have a 10,000 gold lead against you, so 10,000 gold deficit. That's look. It's just really awkward for NSK to find any fight that works.
I know we're saying Set, and I know that monks are known for their appetites, but he's got to stop thieving. This is getting rough in this game.
Well, yeah, it's obscure history. Obscure. Well, that's okay. Sure. Team fight.
Team fight different. Viking gets another kill, and the longboats continue. Feels like I'm watching a particular TV show on Amazon Prime I won't mention for copyright reasons, and we'll continue on into the base. stun lands onto a Key who really regrets being in front of that.
Lie.
particular
As soon as
dark
that stun
sphere.
lands, just throw out the solar flare. Go kill him. You got so much damage. They don't have an AD carry. Do the thing.
They really don't care, and natural summon killers are realizing that Riot's lore department has written them out of existence. There are no
been
summoners on.
retconned.
There are no summoners on Summoner's Rift anymore. And yes, they are in a serious spot of bother. They will try and contest the push onto the top tier 3, but it's already gone. Mid inhibitor is already gone. Baron is up, there is Mountain Soul down, and Deja Vu with Rage Blade and a Volibear that has so many damn items will surely be looking to start around this Baron sometime soon.
Wow, they've just ran through both sides of the enemy jungle and put down wards. On their recalls, it looks like the NSK are going to take this opportunity to clear out some vision themselves, but they are going to lose some jungle camps. As we saw in game 1, when NSK were running through the base of Deja Vu.
Oh man, they really wish they had been this place before. And there is a Lich Bane on Victor. There is a perfect Hextall on Victor. There is a world where Varus, for example, could get blown. But they need to stall in my eyes, and Arbor just doesn't want to give him a chance. Very impressive slow there, actually. I believe that must have been from killing him Smite.
Oh no, there is no. Ah,
I think
smoke screen. That's the
smoke
one.
screen was in what I was going to go for.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. I was like, wait,
I
had
indexed into your custom there, and I did that.
No, never. Trust no one, not even yourself.
Fair, I'll take that.
Yeah.
I don't trust myself, particularly when it comes to my Smite game. It's pretty weak unless I'm Evelyn.
Yeah, you can't outsmite them.
Yeah, like our Smite is dumb amounts of damage, guys.
Sorry.
Literally 2,000.
Yeah, I was about to say, is there like 2,000 if you
Yeah.
got like
Yeah, yeah.
really far ahead in the game?
Not even if you're that far ahead. Like you could just the moment you hit level 11, the base damage is so damn high.
Well, I bet that NSK wish they had an Evelyn right now.
I don't know if that's true because we saw a first time Evelyn
Yeah.
because they didn't lock in a jungle with auto lock one. And
Oh,
it was,
you know, I did that in Clash once. I had to play AP Combat before it was meta.
yeah,
I
yeah.
won. It was great. I never played
Oh
it.
no, but this Evelyn was against possibly the best jungler in the division. And it was Wavy Lad versus Weebly, and Weebly pinned out. But I watched Evelyn ult and do less than 5%. Health
We're
bar.
gonna curtain call, we're gonna Baron. Do you want to talk about that? Important.
Sure.
Sure.
Maybe. The curtain call comes out.
Wait, did that Jhin ult?
Wait,
Why are you running?
Bangalore is fighting a bear in the jungle. What did you expect? You go out into the wild and the bear finds you. The bear hunt actually means the bear is, oh my days, the showstop out of the sky split of will. Make sure that Arbor finally dies. That's actually not bad amounts of damage they kill off Syndra, but the Baron dies in trade for 1. Solar Flare comes out and it'll make it 2. Flash for the Undertow that misses, and King 10 will try and avoid the Undertow again, but it's not going to matter. Another one lands. King 10 finds a face breaker, but it doesn't matter. He falls as well. And now Ava needs to run away from this Olaf. He takes another Undertow, but it doesn't matter. 3 for 2, plus Baron, and with the Elder Drake spawning in 10 seconds, and no one who does damage. Sorry, that was 4 for 2, because Key just respawned, I believe. I don't know. Possibly survived. I can't recall. This was death.
I think that kilo.
Okay, Key didn't live. So I was right. It was 3 for 2, but wait a second. Ava wanting to stop that Elder Dragon will instead find the whole squad of Deja Vu, and once again, going camping in the woods was a bad mistake.
Oh, I love it when it's stuff that you have to shout at. So I guess I'm like, nice break. Teleport onto Elder Dragon. That's gonna get taken. And look, guys, it's a 12k gold lead. It's probably game over. Look, this
Okay. No. Unleash power 6, 1, and 3. Syndra finds another kill, and she, who must not be named, destroys the man machine.
This has got to feel pretty good for Wakata Chui, who obviously against his Echo did not have the easiest time last game.
No.
Twitch chat was flaming his build. Wow, how can you be that?
That cruel. Who does that to us,
Who
Jack?
does that? Who flames you?
Maybe they've been flaming the castles. I've been asking them to flame you, but you seem to be into that because you're like, yeah, I got my derogatory comment earlier. So, you know.
That's the kind of thing of like, wow, it feels like I finally made it. I'm important enough to flame.
Yeah, important enough to flame.
The worst one is like, who even is this person? That's the worst.
That's starting.
Shit.
And Valentine, I know you know who we are, so don't even start typing that. You won't believe me.
Everyone knows who Arbor is in this game. I'm kidding.
The death bush is in fact to the other.
Oh,
okay, Baron's on the jump down, and Ava notifies himself in the death realm. Will be a shutdown on the Baron, but it's too late. The bear is running rampant in the backside, and turns out this Arctic expedition found Polar Bear didn't go well. Elder Dragon XU comes out. It is thus far Z-Man Jr. is around.
No.
Sorry, Arbor will start wailing on this next. punching. He doesn't care. He's not turned around. Sky Splitter comes out, he'll thundering smash his way onto Quackalaw.
Oh!
And the long arm of the law ain't as long as the Volibear's arm. And Elder Dragon's fight comes out. Key comes down, and Judgment comes down from the heavens. Many tackle a pass in. The writing was on the wall. And you were Joseph found wanting. Natural summon killers.
I thought there was a little line to that.
I've ended there.
I was very impressed. I don't even know what language that was.
So Mene Tekle Parsin is the original writing on the wall from Book of Daniel. So where the phrase we get writing on the wall comes from there.
And why are we talking about such things like this? It's because that game was so far gone. There's so little to talk about on the last ends of that. The Nexus falls, where even in the series, we do have another game, game 3 in a VL series. Let's go over to that damage graph. See who was, okay. Who's your bets on the most damage?
Would be the Volibear.
Yeah.
And speaking of smiting from the heavens, writing on the wall style, it will be Volibear, who definitely did that game. Good lord.
What did it do? Let's have a look at damage taken. Yeah, that was almost Volibear too.
Olaf from Volibear did a lot of
I
work.
think it is fair to say Volibear was in it that game. Really just in the fray.
Again, we had some questions about the build. Not that, the synergy between items were bad, but it's still an interesting one.
Look, if Banner or Commander no Merc are a thing, we probably would have seen them this game. Either way, I mean, very, very dominant performance. Arbrush looking almost too hot to handle on that top side.
4 items to 2. That is level 17 to level 12. King Tent had the bear tear through the tent at night, and you've seen all seen those videos on YouTube. This one ended up with less hilarity and more tears and blood.
Oh, okay. Well, how do I follow that?
Possibly by going to break, which we'll be going right now. We'll see you in a moment or two.
Sleep till I come home. Dream of something sweet. I will be there soon to wake you so discreet.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Deja Vu vs Natural Summoned Killers has come back to a 1-1 head score. Arbush tried in game 1 on the Lilia to carry Deja Vu to a victory. He managed to do it
Yeah,
with
succeeded.
significantly more success in the second on that volley bear.
Yeah, and public service announcement. We have another public service announcement.
There is.
The Ari skin's out.
The Ari skin is out.
The
and
Ari skin
Ari
is out.
main literally spent his break going to hunt for the Ari skin.
I spent so much money in this last 5 minutes. It's great.
I did have to say I went and rushed and got the Kindred skin as well. so I'm
No,
pretty excited.
the last round of skins are out, potentially available for play. By the way, if anyone locks in Yone, they do have to FF because it is banned in competitive play for 2 weeks. That is the standard with new champions. But be aware of solo queue. Might see some people put out a champion for the first time.
Oh yes, that's one way of putting it. We know kind of where this can end up.
Oh, speaking of Yone, normally what you do when a new champion comes out is you re-roll 3 champion shards to get the new champion for free,
Yes.
right? I can't do that because I refuse to buy Bard.
You got a
There's-
50-50 chance.
Yeah, I'm not willing to take that risk. Any risk which might get me Bard is not worth it. I just couldn't accept it. I'd have to start a fresh account. Get to 1 million again.
Look, I understand that you have like moral issues with Bard. You know, he is this horrific kidnapping spirit monstrosity.
He's a meep trafficker.
He's a meat trafficker. Yeah, exactly. It's dark things that he's involved with. But you've got to be able to deal with it at some point. There's some very dark champions in the game. Like hell, Thresh is also a kidnapping
Yeah.
monstrosity.
Yeah, and some of them are so bad, like honestly, like beyond the realm of badness that they would, on a live cast, plug merchandise. Like, I mean,
Oh
who?
my god!
I mean,
who would do that?
I mean, could you imagine
No.
Thresh casting and being like, go to gamersapparel.co.uk/store/Valence? That would be horrifying.
I genuinely think that would be the worst thing I had ever heard. But you could, in fact, go to www.gamersapparel.co.uk/store/Valence.
And like, if and someone would be even so bad to link you to a website which would let you learn more about the Valence League, which would be
No,
beta-
don't
Well,
stop. Who would do that?
I don't know,
That's
but who would say beta.esportspedia.com/lol/Valence_league?
Yeah.
That would be
So-
beyond
just,
imagining.
let me just double check. Would that have been beta.esportspedia.com/lol/Valence_league?
It made me
Well,
shiver, so I
just-
assume that is
Yeah,
correct.
just to make sure I never go there myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But
Right, good to
stay. It's like getting a book of swear words just to know what you can't say.
know. Exactly that.
Yeah.
And that's really frustrating. I was gonna mute
No, you're
myself.
gonna do the thing. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to learn about words like and other words like, and it's just, I mean, there's maybe one like too.
You can't put the number 5 with the letter M next to it, Alex.
Wait, because would that turn into, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it would. That was disgusting to hear.
Yeah.
I am ashamed.
bleeding from the ears.
Yeah, like I'm actually quite sick right now.
Well, solar cast it is.
Okay, well, natural summon killers. Into
That's
pick a
how they
ban.
kill people. They
I
say
know.
those direct words.
Alongside Deja Vu, it will be NSK taking to the blue side for the first time this particular matchup. Volley Bear now joins the bands alongside Lilia and Yumi.
Mm-hmm.
Zillion and Echo are still the bands for Deja Vu. Still wondering on that last band might be something like the Caitlyn one
Mhm.
more time. Does leave Ash up for first pick though.
Ash unbanned. Yeah, that's true. And looking to be snapped up. Now I'm wondering, Viking, you're gonna play the
Jhin?
Jhin? You
Might
play
be
the
a
Jhin?
call. What else works well into Ash in your eyes?
Ezreal's not awful. Never Callisto, you never get to play into that. Yeah, that's kind of it. Ezreal Jhin in terms of the meta ones. You can pick Misfortune, that's okay. But then you're kind of left wanting for a lot of different things. You can potentially go for something like Lux Sona too.
Yeah, we want to see whether Viking
Right,
and his stronger
yep.
have got it. They're gonna go for the pseudo Ash in Varus, who
Mm.
does similar kind of things with the ultimates and utility.
Yeah, Varus has been nerfed in his laning phase a lot now. His E's down quite a lot. His Q, when you max it, does less damage compared to what it used to. It's not quite as low counter play as it was when you were poke Varus and you could just force me up out of lane by very, very long range skill shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still locked inside Leona, so very strong combo, Varus, Leona. Each of them can combo off of each other and land one CC into the other. That's what we're going to have to look for again.
Okay, Malphite now locked in. Might look towards the Orianna lock in here before it gets banned away. That would be a hell of a lot of CC.
I think they pick it now.
I think you do as well. It's been banned every other time, and that would be the kind of all the
Oh,
go buttons you could ever
And,
require.
and I would say that I think that Ava's had the better of Zedman Jr.
Yeah.
for most of this series. I think that if you can just kind of say, look, he's going to be okay with whatever we give him in that matchup, that'll be fine. Instead, going towards a Turek that is pretty good into melee matchups, so
Mhm.
you can pull it out versus Leona, that's fine. And you can try and disengage with the Dazzle and keep things going, keep things rolling. It's kind of hard to time that Tarek ult in time for the Ash to survive if they're hit by the CC.
Worth pointing out as well that I know you've seen a little bit of the resurgence of Master Yi Tarek. Is that still an option here?
I think that was a very special case. Yeah, I had to cast a Tarek game in with a player like a Grandmaster game. It wasn't even like it wasn't something which had been prepared for a gimmick and people aren't prepared for it. A lot of high level players playing it. It was also against a hacker and stuff, which really can't do anything against Master Yi. Yeah, okay. I hope it's not a Master Yi. I potentially you can ban that away, but
We'll have to see. Zoe banned out by Deja Vu. Again, trying to index into Key's champion pool. I suspect we might see the Oriana last ban here as well. But, you know, still some room for some interesting stuff to come out.
Yeah,
I mean, of
no.
course, Wakanda Chewy probably does play the Oriana, so maybe they don't ban it, just pick it themselves.
maybe a sign. Oh no, it's unfortunate. Maybe a sign of the Tarek Yi coming is the fact that I am actually getting a migraine right now.
Do you want me to go grab you
No,
some meds
I
while
took
I'm
some
here?
stuff. No, I took some stuff. But
Okay.
yeah, if you hear me getting slightly more despondent and
Yeah.
completely getting
You,
stuff wrong,
you,
know
log,
why.
you load into the Rift and went for the Krug camp.
I took Krugs. Oh no,
No,
you should.
I
Dude,
should have told you.
You should have told me not to take Krugs.
Well, you took Krugs. I'm the jungler. I'm the only one who's allowed to take Krugs.
I'm spacing.
I'm your
out
older
right
brother
now.
as well.
I'm smelling colors.
Synesthesia aside,
Yeah.
we're gonna.
Graves being banned, that's pretty big actually.
Yeah,
They
he
managed to
was
get.
pretty good on those.
Okay, so I think Kha'Zix is really good into Trundle. Olaf is available
Kindred.
too, but Olaf is not great into Trundle. So yeah, the Kindred is not bad, but then you have to play Kindred into Leona Varus, which are really good at picking her off. I would not suggest that. Lee Sin's up too. Lee Sin's
I
a very good champion into that.
shiver at the thought.
Worth noting. Oh no, Echo's banned. I was like, worth noting, Echo's not banned. It is banned. It's starting already, Sam. I'm missing things already.
We go. All right. Well,
I'll miss more bans than I do skill shots.
So, old man Nymera here, losing his memory. Before we've even hit the rift, Set looking like the pick up here. It could still be flat. Well, I mean, it would be likely then be going towards the top lane, but instead they lock in the Oriana.
Taking it away from the Malphite.
It does. It's a solid lane in mid lane. Wakanda Chewy does play the control mages pretty well. You know, as a Victor player alongside the Ari. So,
Azir
locking
still
in.
available. Ari is not available, as you're saying. Yeah, some options in that mid lane. It's just what combos in. The Malphite Yasuo is available.
yeah.
It would leave them relatively AD heavy, maybe having to pick up something like a Karthus, Shyvana, Nidalee in the jungle. But if you lock in something like the Nidalee, it's not much setup for you. Yasuo has been hovered, it has been locked in.
Okay, Malphite Oriana is locked in. They are very AD heavy, of course.
Malphite
Malphite
Yasuo, not Malphite
could go. Malphite Yasuo. Thank
Old
you.
man Sam over
I
here.
know. It's because I wanted to see the Oriana, but there we go.
Sam, you are seeing.
No,
the
I mean
Oriana.
specifically what I want to see was the Oriana Malphite combo.
I wanted to see Spirit, and I want to see Spirit Balsamari, but we can't all have our dreams, Sam. I'm sad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Look,
You
I
didn't-
know you're upset, but you don't
didn't
get to
des- I'm
take it out
sorry,
on
yeah.
me.
You didn't deserve that. I apologize. It's the Garthus. Cool. Nice. You
Go,
got a
go to your
full-
room, namely the realm beyond death.
Sam, I'm in my room. This is my bedroom. We are casting from my PC in my bedroom.
Right now, it's workspace. You don't get to talk to me like that. I'm gonna file a complaint with HR. Guess who
Well-
runs HR? I do. There's only two of us who run this.
I would like to. This is a whistleblowing situation now. There is like gross incompetence to the HR compartment. Okay, Karthus locked in. Lots of one by
Oh,
combo. There is
yes.
some diverse damage. You do get the AP out of Karthus, and you can go for the AP Malphite. I don't mind that. Not so good into the Mordekaiser. I think if you don't go tank Mordekaiser into the tank Malphite into the Mordekaiser, it gets a little bit tricky. Even then, Mordekaiser's pretty good at locking people into that death realm. No, sorry, the realm of death, not the death realm. It is
Still call
death.
it death run because it's parlance. It's
Yeah, I know.
colloquialism.
Mordekaiser does really well versus Karthus. You have
him out.
very little way to escape him when he's in there. You can lock the Yasuo, and that's a closer 1v1, but still the Mordekaiser can itemize very effectively against that. However, against a double AP topside, you're not going to be getting Tabby this game from the Mordekaiser, I don't think.
Treads.
So I think that Mord is going to have some difficult itemization choices to make this game, because Arbrush has been winning the 1v1 very heavily, But do you want to have the ability to shut down the Ashe and the Yasuo in the team fights and go for more AD
So would
heavy?
you go Spirit Visage? Maybe something a
Um,
bit off kilter, like a Wit's End for attack speed plus.
No,
magic resist?
I think Mordekaiser. I think this is a proto belt game. As
Okay.
much as it's not so great into the tank matchup, it's really good at closing the gap when you're in Death Realm. Gives you that effective extra spell hit as far as I think it's. Oh, it might be spells or auto attacks or either way. But so it gives you that gap close potential on someone like the Ashe or the Karthus, and means that there's very low counterplay. When you're in that realm of death, I'm saying it that way. To try and close down one of those carries, it's very, very easy to take them off the board.
Well, King Tentle looking to be sticking in his own realm. Realm where he is king, rather than one where Mordecai.
The 10th realm.
The 10th realm. What does Realm of Tents look like? Is it sort of like
Um,
Lawnmower World? Do you remember Lawnmower World, Al?
Sam, I don't remember Lawnmower World.
So,
What was Lawnmower World? Is this something from a? Is this something?
no,
which
this is
I-
actually something from our childhood, man.
I was about to say, like, is this something which I've managed to, like, section off from my brain?
We used to drive past on certain journeys when we used to visit our grandparents, I believe, a place that had the beautiful lettering with like one of those like the floppy inflatable men who. Like,
yeah.
I forget what you call those.
Inflatable salesman, I
Yeah, I
guess.
guess. It used to be called Lawnmower World and had like beautiful adverts for lawnmowers.
No,
is it sort of like a realm
I-
of tents? It's like Lawnmower World is
I-
two lawnmowers.
I was about to say, what does the realm of towns look like? I'd imagine it's just like a lot of.
Is it a campsite? Is that what it is?
It's a lot of like waterproof lining. It probably. It probably looks like an inner tent, and outside that, an outer tent.
It looks like Glastonbury Festival after a rough week.
So, okay, I was about to say some very bad things, which are very. So, like, okay, probably can't say that live on
We've
air.
already mentioned about the trafficking of Krugs. Krugs with a K.
Meat
that is.
trafficking.
Yeah.
Some very gory descriptions of like. everything.
Volibear
Yeah.
eviscerating his enemies.
Well, we saw that live on stream.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
Shocking,
just
really.
lots of tent lining.
Yeah.
There's tarpaulin
The
everywhere.
The worst thing possible to see.
Everywhere I turn, tarpaulin.
Yeah, tarpaulin is a terrifying thing. You
There's
get
a
lost in it.
sleeping bag here.
It's like the desert. Water just doesn't.
Why do
work
I have
there.
a Trangia portable stove?
Like I smell. I
I smell gas.
I smell cooking spirits, methylated spirits. It's all purple. I need to light it.
No, that's the Krog trade.
Oh.
Oh right, yeah.
Ah, yeah,
sorry.
no,
It's very easy to overlap. This is the problem. We've talked about so many things. It's all melding into one. This is like the Nymeran initialized Twilight Zone cast.
War Haunted Chemist.
I don't know. Sam.
Methylated spirits.
I knew that. I just wanted to set you up for that.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
I'd come up with some more jokes, but all the good chemistry ones are gone.
Oh, gone.
Yeah.
Yes. Cool.
Do you think if King Tent farts the top side,
Is it?
is it a noble gas?
Oh, these are all the one-liners I used to say on cooldown throughout. You know that
Yeah,
time where
is
like
there- is
it's
there
that kind of time where I mean I am a very introverted person. It's
Yeah.
been quite a long journey for me to get to this point. It was the kind of thing where I was going through the first parts of secondary school. It's like I would ice break by just telling one-liners like that. This is something I have sectioned out from my brain genuinely.
I've got ones about the jungle too. You know,
What's about the jungle, Sam?
There's a very rare tree in there. It's called the chemistry. Scientist's favorite plant.
Wow.
All right, enough of this. That's pain for everybody involved. I'd apologise, but I quite enjoyed that, so I'm going to stick with that. All right.
3 games in, getting a migraine. This is making it worse.
Okay, so
Dark Star synergy. That's the most important
that
thing we have to
is
talk
the
about.
most important thing right there. Also, want to point out, of course, that Ava has largely outpathed and outfarmed Z-Man Jr.
And when you're on a farming triangle like
Yeah.
Karthus, that's exacerbated.
Exactly, and Karthus probably abuses farm advantages more than nearly any other jungler. I would wager. So obviously the wombo combo between Malphite into Last Breath into Requiem is pretty damn filthy. And if that gets onto the Orianna and onto
but-
the Varus, you can definitely do a lot of work.
My thing is, if you're going to go with the Malphite Yasuo and try and have follow-up damage, the Yasuo can get Death Realmed away before the end of the ult. Yes, you can. You can get Death Realmed before the end of the ult, as far as I'm aware. Actually, you know what? I have no idea how that animation works. Because I know that Yasuo stays in place of that animation. I'm not sure if he's displaced when he is ulting. I don't know whether that happens towards the end of it. It's been a while since I've thought about that, and I'm not a Yasuo player myself. Either way, if it does come into a Death Realm 1v1 between Mordekaiser and Yasuo procs his Fleet Footwork and he runs around because he gets a Zeal item, first item after his boots, he could outrun Mordekaiser. I think that the 1v1 there is pretty good, so I think that combo is pretty safe. The comment on Malphite does not mean it's going to be AP Malphite. You can run that just for lane pressure. I don't know whether I would prefer to see. I think you maybe do need the tank Malphite. I think maybe you do, just because you
Alright.
have 0 frontline besides that. I okay.
Tarek's there a little
Yeah.
bit, I guess. Might be the Cosmic Radiance, but see how radiant this beautiful game of League of Legends will be? Well, you have to stick around until we go to this quick video. Ha! Baited you. Straight back to the rift, but instead we had a pause. Ah, how funny we are. But yes, we are back onto the rift. Difficulties have been resolved. There were some Discord issues for some of the players. That has now been changed. We're onto the rift here with a bit saved from Z-Man Jr., but the Ava just throwing out some lay wastes, which I think he only hits one of.
Yeah, whatever. I wasn't counting. Not this time. Maybe the next time.
We're only counting the amount of times he's hit.
Okay, alright. Let's have a rundown of what's happening. We have an Ignite on Yasuo. He's got Fleet Footwork, not going for the Conqueror. So he's going to be looking to kite around a fair bit. You know, and we were talking about the Mordekaiser with the Fleet Footwork, listening up to the Mordekaiser with Fleet Footwork. The other one, Yasuo, in the Death Realm against Mordekaiser, if he procs that Fleet Footwork, can out-kite him. Speaking of kiting, very hard to kite a Trundle with Phase Rush. Trundle, if he just runs up to you and just autos you early into the game, Karthus cannot afford to walk into Trundle. If he gets pillared with the water walking and then having Nimbus Cloak too, if he's ended up at the point where it's just those Scumsh Sabers, the Trundle just gets to run down cards. So what this does mean is that Garthos cannot pass into a place where he thinks Trundle is unless he has support. That's the main thing. It's not quite as high damage as something like Press the Attack, which is also really good versus tanks because you end up like...
Wait.
Oh, Double Dazzle.
It's Double Dazzle, and Viking now in trouble, has to flash out over the wall, but it's stronger, hasn't decided to do that. Papa Law and Kraden looking to chase further in, and will eventually force the flash, but it's a lot of health bar burnt.
It's both pots being burned from Leona, not burned from Viking just yet. He chose not to cleanse. I guess that's at least he escapes with that one thing there. And they are left very, very happy that Kraden didn't take himself an ignite.
Yeah, could have been trouble. I wonder actually whether the exhaust might have been able to run down the Leona there.
You'd have to honestly maybe a double flash over would have solved that. It was getting pretty low.
Difficult to call.
Worth questioning. So we have Trundle starting on bot side. He's level 3. He might be able to come bot, knowing that this bot lane will now be flashing. Oh, not flashless. Not flashless. They have to summon it, but pushing it.
Dazzle misses,
That's what they're
here comes Z-Man Jr. level 3. Has got Pillar, will force Papalor into an awkward position.
don't have
but gets
ult
to
two. They don't have
walk
ult two.
away. Don't know what it's stronger leveled first. If he'd had Zenith Blade, maybe he could have got him, but without the flash, too far away.
I think that if Deja Vu had hit the wave a little bit more, well, I mean, saying that, look, they killed like another 2 minions there. I guess they leashed some XP onto Trundle, which is kind of unfortunate.
Dazzle into volley.
But they only just hit level 2 now. That's very unfortunate.
Dash forward by Key, looking to get onto Wakada Chewy. The command protect comes out. The Steel Tempest does land though. And Odyssey Yasuo. Odyssey Yasuo picks.
It's so really good wave positioning there from Key, knowing that he can hold the wave outside his turret, be safe from Trundle ganks because he's going to come in and start pilling you. That's what he tried to do bot lane. Very important versus melee and low-range characters, which is going to happen exactly now.
There he is, but he's going to dash his way through. Z-Man Jr. is going to get slowed though, takes the command dissonance in the face and regrets his life a little bit.
Does. So, Trundle walks in, gives an unfortunate escape path with the sweeping blade.
Sweeping blade?
Yes, I was like, oh, that's a champion I know the abilities of. Another champion I know.
Steel
particularly,
Tempest, Wind Wall, Sweeping Blade, Last Breath, and
The 0-10 passive, yeah.
and Way of the Wanderer, I believe is the passive.
Yes. Which has a 2-part. He's going in again, and I was talking about having the wave frozen in a really good spot. Well, when you're this low on HP, you gotta reset, buddy.
He ought to be going to reset, but now his wave's in a bit of an awkward spot. You could see Kraden roaming up into the river to make sure Ava got that Scuttle Crab down there, and already up a vast amount of CS because of the 2 ganks. Didn't really get Z-Man Jr. anything, but didn't have to go through them.
Oh, good target top side.
Yeah, Vikings chose to escape the Dazzle that time around, but starting to stack up that healing now is Tarek, and that obviously is surprisingly effective the later of the game.
Oh, for sure. Particularly when you are against low-range compositions, when you can keep auto-attacking, and that comes off a cooldown very, very quickly. I really like what NSK are doing. They are zoning off the enemy duo rather than pushing into turret, because you've got that melee versus CC, another melee CC support. The Tarek doesn't really want to be hitting tower, so he wants to be just zoning them off, just because he's not going to be in a position to really do that. The highest value they can have from this lane is just denying the enemy ADC gold whilst also retaining perfect CS from themselves.
Okay, well, so far that has led to Apple.
The Dazzle's been good as own.
Significant amount of, well, it's about 10 CS down here, which is big, rather, 5 minutes into this game. The other one I do want to keep an eye on though is Ava, as I've said, has been doing a very good job on these castles. Got double scuttle, by the way. It is just massive.
Well, that's because Trundle tried to do an emergency gank bot lane to try and bail his bot lane out. Didn't happen, they're now down. Okay, not the most amount of CS, that's pretty important. They managed to farm on the turret very well because it has been pushed in on some of these big waves. I wonder if they wanted to reset at some point. Let's have a look. They do have enough gold for a Bam Scepter, but both these carries want to be going for the same first item, which is an important thing. It means that you can't just force awkward trades because you know you've got like, you want to go for pickaxe over a BF sword as you can also play.
There we go, that is the Zenith Blade. Now on to Kraden. Ignite is down as well, and Kraden goes down to first blood. The pressure in bot side gets alleviated after a good Zenith Blade and gank from Z-Man Jr. It doesn't work out.
Didn't work in minute 2, works in minute 6 as it just ticks over, gets the kill over for Leona, and it means that the zoning that they were doing was not nearly enough to buy them that safe. Didn't have the way positioning for them to be safe. Kraden doesn't even flash, knows that he's dead when the Ignite goes down, and that is a kill. Dragon. So over to Deja Vu.
Yeah, this will be 3 games in a row that Deja Vu get first dragon. They got first 2 in the first game, then lost 4 in a row. They got all of the dragons in the second game. this time around. Arbush just saying, yeah, I bet you want to walk up to this wave, and the freeze.
Wait, that's an ultra?
It's just so annoying. Death Stress. Land King 10 takes a obliteration to
Death
the
roll.
face. We are in the realm of death, and King 10's going to look to try and trade out, but with Kraden getting engaged on again, there is still the flash. There is still no exhaust, though, and Kraden finally flashes, but now with the icy domain, well, frozen domain, actually, I think is how it actually is, flashing for the wall of pain. Buys time, Viking still looking for the orders, but the dazzle is huge. It's still not enough. The Shield of Daybreak buys time, and now chasing into the bushes, Papa Law, but somehow, some way, all people get out alive in that engage in the bot side.
Importantly, no TPs were channeled. There was a TP, well, double TP advantage for the side of Deja Vu. Their solo lanes went for the individual fights, though. The last breath chant from Yasuo, maybe keeping Orianna locked in combat to make sure that teleport can happen. Top lane, it was Arbush, which did start off the fight, though. Didn't back off, didn't want to get cancelled, I guess, by the Unstoppable Force. Doesn't win the 1v1 anyway, but has got that 20 CS lead. Or at least, that Flash Wall of Pain coming in clutch.
Just enough space for Kraden to escape. Papa Law still has both summoners. Viking flashed in to try and get that. Didn't quite manage it. Shield coming up just in time for character saving from one of those last couple of weeks.
Indeed. So, we're going to have to track what Arbush is doing with his itemization. He is going towards the Emperor's Torment first item. Looks like it's going to be Abyssal Mask for King 10 on the other side of it. I think that's best for the 1v1 in terms of, for both champions. You're not going to get yourself a bonus in early for a lot of your extended trade damage, which is something very much likes. I was obviously questioning maybe whether you go for a Pro 12 or Mordekaiser and just say, look, it's not about the Mordekaiser 1v1 for me, not the Malphite 1, there's so many M champions. So, it's not about the Malphite 1v1 for me, it's
Malzahar? That's not the game, I have no idea.
It's, so you can Proto Belt on top of the Ashe, on top of, Karthus, the other K thing, into this game, and you can kind of really punish them in the larger team fights. But I guess if you're winning the side lanes and holding the Malphite accountable, you're doing your job pretty well already. He's probably gonna have to go for a Matt Nap, which is the problem.
Yeah. Diego still looking to go in here, gets a fair amount of damage onto the Trundle, still not level 6, but there is a Requiem, and there is a last breath. He slays the Trundle and vanquished by the Sword of Yasuo.
A lot of CC uses the Scuttle Crab for that minion taxi, sweeping blade through it, uses the mobility, gets himself the first kill of the game. I've really liked how Key has kept his wave in the correct position, and then pushes out just for that. Roam works out very well. Yasuo playing pretty well.
I'm not sure about that win ball, but
Trying to stop the ball okay,
of course.
because the shockwave's available.
Yeah. Makes a lot more sense now. I judged you, Key, and I shouldn't have.
You know what's really interesting? If you try and shield someone, because it's not the same as the Q movement, if you wind wall a Q, it stops it moving at the wind wall. If you try and ease someone to go through it, it goes and snaps back right back to Orianna. Interesting interaction.
So you can find your way past some things, but Deathcraft misses. Arbush for the gang, and now the Wall of Pain is down, slowing down this Mordekaiser.
Ow!
And that is a lot of damage. Fiendish Codex first for the Karthus. Coming up pretty clutch there. He's only level behind the Mordekaiser right now.
He's been farming very well, got himself up to 67. That's all, well, he's on par with his solo laners CS.
Oh, man alive. Triple dagger in for Yasuo.
Well, he's not alive, he's Karthus. I'm pretty sure he's very undead. Oh, flash.
Alright, well, Swan Song maybe for Arbush, who goes into the Death Realm looking to buy King 10's life. There is, of course, the Unstoppable Force, which King 10 will be looking to use over the wall. The pillar is now in force. It's a flash out of the Malphite.
If you get the Karthus ult before the Death Realm comes down, maybe you get that kill. Maybe if Trundle walks further away to the likely path of escape, you also get out there and force the flash a bit easier. Either way, it is the ult and the flash traded for the ult and the flash at the top lane. It's not really the same level advantage we have seen from the top lane of Deja Vu this entire series.
No, and Karthus 2 levels up. Z-Man Jr. still not at level 6. That is such a big deal in a lot of these fights. It means that Trundle is just very squishy right now to things like
Oh yeah, you don't actually have the Trundle ult. I was like, wow, if you get the Trundle ult, I'm looking at the Karthus level, I'm like, oh yeah, he's really far ahead.
Yes, he is. Up 30 CS early on. I feel like I've said that a few times about Ava over Z-Man Jr. Coming into the mid lane for another gank is this Trundle looking to step forward. But of course, he has flash and his agility. Alright, slow from the Field of Arrows. Does slow Kraden for a moment, but again, not a huge amount to be found there. Back into these relatively even states as Deathcraft will again landing on.
Oh, another thing, I'm a much bigger fan. Oh, okay.
Okay, Cosmic Radiance coming down, and it will be on Z-Man Jr. There's a Shockwave buys time, and you talked about it being a good disengage option. Works out there. Ava chunks out. Gonna see the ball trading around onto this
He has
Yasuo.
ult.
Oh, yes, he does. Could still be found. Achilles might now down to keep it the lock up. And it's a double last breath fighting the bot side as well, though. And that will be Papalor going down, but it's traded in the backside as Ava gets a kill. But now Arbush is teleported in, forced to flash out a key. You can see King Tent now needs to find his way out, has no flash, has no ult, and is now trying to escape 3 members. Arbush comes in with an obliterate, but it's Wakana Chui who picks up the kill. 2 for 1 at the end of that.
Oh, teleporting in as an ultless Malphite feels so bad, but he did feel like he needed to go down. Maybe a tad late. 2-man last breath secures at least 1 kill for the side of NSK. I don't mind that shockwave onto the Terra kill. It's no damage, I agree, yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, but it buys time like you were saying. Just reset the fight, and you know that your Mordekaiser is coming down, going to have a better job at fighting in this particular instance rather than the Malphite. They do come through, and it's a decent fight for the side of Deja Vu. They have the Herald bot side too, there's 2 plates over the Mordekaiser.
Okay, plates over to Maud is looking good.
That's important.
That is
That's
a decent CS lead now against the Mordekaiser having come down. So we say we haven't seen that lead we've seen in an earlier time. Maybe taking a little bit longer, but is now up 2 plates, nearly 3. Has got that 20-odd CS lead. Looking pretty strong in this game one more time.
I think it's going to be very important tracking how strong the Yasuo is compared to how strong the Mordekaiser is.
And it. Okay.
Doesn't go for the ult.
No, he doesn't. Well, that's the prize. I wonder if he could have gone for that.
He needs to reset TP back right now. I think he should probably... Yeah, he'll just do that now. Anyway, going back on to what I was saying. Sometimes I get that.
Sometimes. Only some.
I think it's really important to track how strong the Mordekaiser is and whether we think he can deal the Yasuo or vice versa, right? Because they are both going to be in range of each other if they're in these big fights, and they are going to be the ones who are going to be wrecking face on the backline. If Mordekaiser can deal with the Yasuo, it's a big problem for NSK. If Yasuo can deal with him, then it means that Mordekaiser can't deal with the backline effectively.
Oh my days, he's avoided 2. Now he's got to walk away. The
He dodged
pillar
the
buys
cube.
so much time. The Requiem comes out, he's going to get nothing. Oh, natural summoned killers. I think you needed a little bit more than your natural abilities there, because that one was a bit
So,
dumb.
Twitch chat, that's why you take face rush.
All right, so someone go clip that one
no
because
right to escape there. That is so...
he just walked the other way. He just walked the other way.
That Malphite ult was so sad. Oh, okay. That was some magic feat from Z-Man Jr. and some less than magical ultimates out of the side of NSK. They will be waiting for the next cooldowns for the next fight now.
I feel like that wasn't on the R key, that was on an F key, followed by an OO that was pressed before it. That was a big fan oof.
Wait, weren't we saying something else? What was the thing we said we were going to say instead of oof? We said in game 1. We said there was a word we were going to start using. Oh, crap.
I don't
I
remember.
failed myself.
I failed you.
Yeah.
Intentionally.
Stop it.
Yeah,
What are the
please
big-
stop it.
what's
That's
the-
what you're trying to do, remember?
what are
That's
the-
why we're having this conversation.
One of the big things about a caster is make sure you don't crunch on individual
It is.
words. It's really noticeable. He doesn't matter. Like, wow, he used that word 5 times, and they're going to use this ult
Well,
many
no,
times as
yeah,
well.
Last breath comes out, and now Ava trying to escape, but it's too late for the Orianna, who crumples to the combined powers of Ki and Ava.
Less a Iron Juggernaut, more of a crushed Aluminium can. Orianna goes down. Ultimates only used from the Yasuo, and the Orianna also didn't work out, and the ticking tick down. I think Knight claims that kill. Oh, it's really important that they go for the Seraph Saber though, because you need to survive the dive. You need the shield. You're going to be trying to disengage from the Yasuo quite a lot. As soon as that Seraph comes through, very, very important for Deja Vu.
Especially because you're not running the exhaust, especially because you versus the Carthage, especially because you versus a Malphite, and you won't always have flash.
No, I think that you do need to take the teleport in this
Oh,
match
yeah, you
too, because the amount of times we've seen Yasuo hard trading and just knowing he can stay in lane, doesn't need the mana, it just allows Orianna through. So it's really important.
Okay, so right now as we're cresting 15 minutes, nearly 16 as I speak, we've got about 1,500 gold into Deja Vu. Unfortunately, 2 of their kills were actually on their Leona. It's not on anything like the Baz. It's a bit of a frustration, but
But that's why you don't take any damage.
Ah, exactly. Going to be walking towards an Aegis of the Legion item. I suspect that might be a locket, which would be really great versus the Carthus and the Last Breath, actually.
It's true. I'm trying to remember what Zeke's builds out of. What's Zeke's? I don't play these. Yeah, I don't build support. Crap! No, we've got 2 players who don't play support.
Oh dear, right, hang on.
Anyway, that's the fight on the bottom side, I guess.
Alright, Solar Flare will though force the cleanse out of Papalore, but that will also be the Zenith Blade into the pillar, into a very dead Ashe, and yes, maybe you wanted to be Robocop there. You're gonna have to come back built better than before, because that one was a very dead, more important officer in the full time Papalore.
And that's also why Trundle is so useful in so many different compositions. He's not full engaged, he's not full disengaged, but he helps every champion that does do that in your team just do it a little bit better. The Solar Flare comes out, the Cleanse comes out, but then the Pillar still locks the Ashe in place, whose flash was a couple of seconds on cooldown. We've got this Herald started up now after the AD carry has died, resetting onto the map, but it will be the Herald dead before they reach it. Dragon spawning in the next 5 seconds, which might be a trade of those objectives, as it is in Ocean. Not Ocean, the other one.
Cloud?
Cloud, the other, yeah.
Okay, well, Arbush is going to find his way into a 1v1, but that Dazzle landing in the middle of the death row is super frustrating. Flash in from Arbush was very bold, but now Ava actually also taken very, very low. Indestructible comes out, but it's not going to be enough. Shutdown goes the way of Key. Getting Yasuo fed sounds a bit concerning. There's the Ashe Arrow into the unstoppable force. Requiem claims to an Ave Maria screams Karthus for a double at the end of it all.
Oh, that's an unfortunate wall flash. It's a 3-for-1, and you can see why the Mordekaiser flash forward is very, very close. That if that exhaust didn't come through, you do have that Karthus living, dying at that point, and then having to use that ultimate in an inopportune situation, maybe not being able to get off that Dark Harvest. As it stands, though, it's a dragon, it's a big fight, and you see what the Wombo combo does when you reach these item breakpoints.
It's also got Karthus 10 stack on Dark Seal. There is a Medjai's on the horizon, and that particular hymn book is looking like a hell of a lot more Requiems to me.
As Windwall comes out, secures that tower coming down without the wave clear coming through from the Varus, who's still deathless, managed to pick up another kill on King 10, who did set up wonderfully for that play, but is still individually lacking quite a bit of gold. Is down 60 CS, by the way, with this to the tune of about 2,000 gold into the Mordekaiser, even with that 0-1-1 score.
The thing with Malphite is there is always a base line of effectiveness, and it's called your R button. Worked out so well. You could see the Ashe Arrow into the Unstoppable Force, into the Requiem was just nasty.
Want to do a little bit of a check-in for Mordekaiser.
Yes.
Has gone from the top. I think that is the correct choice, because
I agree.
this game is not about Karthus coming to get the Mordekaiser. It's not about the 1v1. Well, I mean, the 1v1 is very important, but the Mordekaiser is winning at that end. That looks like it's either a voice that for Rylai's, most likely to be in Rylai's. He has no ult, he's gonna die here.
Well, he's going to be put into the realm of
the king.
death, and this king wishes he was back home. Going to find himself back in the fountain rather than in a tent. He wishes he did have his jungler in a tent nearby. Doesn't work out. Falls down in the solo kill. He will trade up in that top side. Mid lane turret fell in favor of Deja Vu, and a couple tower trades actually. Frankly, there's 3 towers right now. Good stuff. Actually, they're going to come up to lane as well.
Well, you can't walk forward because there's going to be a solar flare, and that cleanse still on cooldown. Maybe that could have been a dive attempt.
Maybe.
Not coming through. Tarek ult's also not available, important to note that. However, Arbrush on the bot side more than happy to just keep wailing on the tower for his own game.
Never mind a Book of Hymns. Karthus has instead gone to the Liandry's Torment second. I know you favour it. Ashe Arrow comes down, and now Arbush. Done for a very long time. Dazzle lands as well. Wall of Pain, and the Lay Wastes come out. Eva is unstoppable.
You know they're on that side of the jungle. You know your team is backing off. You can't beat that. You don't have your Death Realm. You got to wait for that to come up. Another impatient move by Arbush. This guy's been ahead so much in the series. I wonder if he's just trying to force himself into that lead again. He's stumbling this game.
Also say that was just a lot of CC for a long time. Maybe he thought he could just walk away before they got there, but
Yeah, maybe you should have gone for the Murderess.
but Ashe, maybe that's kind of like it was just Ashe Arrow into Dazzle, into the Wall of Pain. I was like, well, you're going nowhere anytime soon. Dazzle does not land on the team. I'm going to walk the wrong way, and then has to flash out, and now Nats SK will walk in and siege the mid-tier 2 for their own end. You can see Ricardo Chewy over the back trying to find Langles for the wall, but be found.
Well, Orianna has no flash. If you do walk up too far and you see that vision there, that is going to be a combo coming out the Malphite Yasuo. The combo is back up. They do have the Taric ult to continue the fight. Very, very dangerous for Deja Vu to opt into root up the fight unless you have the Mordekaiser pulling out one of those crucial pieces with that Death Realm. He has himself the Rylai's. We were talking about that coming in. Now it's the question of, well, Karthus is really, really fast. If he gets himself a Magi's and that extra move speed, and of course has Leandri in place too, maybe he can deal with the Mordekaiser in the 1v1. We saw it very close in the last Dragon fight. Maybe it gets even worse.
Get the Wall of Pain out. There's no magic resist to speak of. Narbush could definitely find himself in a very sad position. Karthus spatter back, and I suspect this will be for the book, but we haven't found out whether that's actually.
I would support it because I think that you do need the ability to kite out the Mordekaiser in whatever way you can. It's kind of unfortunate. It's kind of unfortunate when you do die. If you do die, because there are ways to get on top of you. Get a good shockwave, good arrow, Leona, all that kind of stuff. You do end up losing a lot of value. Maybe that's what he's worried about. But yeah, stopwatch is fine. Again, it buys you a little bit. Given that the Mordekaiser was what, 7 seconds, something like that. You get to buy 2.5 seconds with that stopwatch. 2.5. Yeah, I remember that one. Can't remember the Mordekaiser roll, but that one's been in the game longer.
We'll check at some point. Z-Man Jr. face checks into Papa Law, but the pillar
Asher.
out by Sarah. The Asher comes out, but doesn't really hit anyone. Goes flying wide.
I wonder if you don't flash that and you just cleanse Viking.
It might have been an option.
Because I would quite like to have a flash to maybe flash out of a Malphite ult. I think that the more if you want to have all the tools to keep you safe available, that's maybe not the highest value somebody you can use. Lowest value that one.
Right, rather Deja Vu need to try and find their way into the river, but that is into a lot of wombo combo, and they're going in blind. That is a scary space to be.
They're funneling in. This is such an awkward situation for Deja Vu.
Malphite just off the back end, off vision. The arrow spots out some people. Z-Man Jr. at the front has got ultimate available. Boy, to dazzle, the shockwave flashed away from by Papalor, but here comes the Cosmic Radiance. That's also the only one man on the last breath, which does a lot of damage onto Arbush, who now goes into the Death Realm. Stopwatch for Ava, and Arbush survived, flashing away from damage. Shut down onto Yasuo, and it is Deja Vu who are winning the back end of this fight, but there's so many low health bars that Karthus at least gets one in retreat, but it is Viking, flashless or otherwise, who finds his way to a triple, as Orianna picks up 2 for herself as well. 5 for 2, and Dragon in favor of Deja Vu.
Well, what do I know? Apparently don't need a flash to survive the combo. Viking comes out with a triple kill, 5, 0, and 5. We were talking about Arbush versus Ava in that 1v1 in the Death Realm. Got close. Had to have Arbush flashing out of the last Q, but he managed to do so much damage to the Karthus. He did end up getting finished off as he came out. As we were also talking about that, the Yasuo died in and after the engage because of that Death Realm, stopping the extra damage coming through. They couldn't finish off the kills. There's no Death's Dance there yet for Yasuo, and of course there's no Conqueror either. Doesn't have the sustain to go through it, and sorry, not Yasuo, the Varus rips him apart.
Right, this game, 11-9 in favor of Deja Vu. 4 turrets to 3, and it is about a 3,000 gold lead in their favor.
Who's that on?
Exactly. That said, you have got the wombo combo of your dreams available. Malphite ult into Yasuo ult into a Requiem from Karthus can definitely blow up a very squishy Orianna and Varus.
And I understand that, but then you have an Ashe who is now, if we're looking at the individual goal, 3,000 gold behind. What that means is that actually your Baron take is a little bit slower. Yasuo does it pretty quickly. The Karthus does. They do need to respond to this.
Right, teleport's coming in, but it is on both sides. Arbush hasn't teleported. It's a 4v5 right now. The Asher goes wide. Z-Man Jr. around, does not have flash. But that will be the take of the Baron. No one can desert. Arbush is teleporting, but it's super late. The Chains of Corruption land onto Ava, and now Z-Man Jr. and the rest of Deja Vu looking for an engage. The Zenith Blade lands, pull back with Deathcraft, gets a kill onto Key, and the Pillar is out there chasing. They're trying to escape RNSKA. Ava will fall again, but not before taking the Leona with him. Double kill for Viking, and in the top side of Wakanda, Chewie and King Tent continue to fight. I believe Papa Law has escaped, and that has been it thus far. The Malphite down just under 100 CS to the Mordekaiser. Just gets soloed out by the Orianna.
Okay, really good Baron call by the side of NSK. I think that is the right choice. And Arbrush, much like in game 1, around that dragon fight, the first one we talked about, teleports a bit too late. It doesn't end up mattering though, because it's stronger, just pulls the trigger. He gets right in the middle, the wind wall was down, it meant that the Varus could start chunking out many members as well. As the Rage Blade, his consistent damage is so much higher than the Ash, who we were talking about, is not particularly strong in this game so far. Sat on Azeel for that was the last fight. He didn't have the Hurricane. It was a little close, and then Malphite goes to try and zone out the Orianna. Wasn't there for the huge wombo. Was a bit of a problem later into it because, of course, this comp is built around the wombo. They didn't have the Carthus ult either. Some big tools either not available or not used quite as efficiently, or for high-value plays. I think they were still necessary, don't get me wrong. But what that meant is that the big AoE didn't catch the main carries. The main carries put out the damage.
Okay, so bit of an update as well. Zeke's convergence for Age of 14 as well. I forgot to mention that was.
That's what I was saying. I was like, oh, I just couldn't remember if it was armor, a cloth that was built.
Ah, I see. Okay, your answer has been sold. Key alongside SK on the bottom side. They do have one Baron buff still on their AD. Actually finds a Mordekaiser in the jungle. Do chase away a little bit. Solar Flare coming out, only a slow on a King 10, but that's enough to get that Malphite into the death realm. Protobelt's in, gonna try and find some space, get some damage down. King 10's gone the opposite way, finds the push out, but not before the ball comes through. And command attack rather, will claim the life, and Kratom does fall before the Cosmic Radiance arms. 2 kills over to Deja Vu, and I feel like I've seen a play in that jungle that way before.
That's why I like Protobelt. Really good at closing the distance. Not maybe the best example onto the Malphite, but you can see how it's working. You've got Rylai's and Protobelt. Very hard to get away from the Mordekaiser in the death realm. Z-Man now going to walk into Karthus, and Karthus still does a lot of damage. Now he's going to... Oh, he's going to do that spot now.
Yeah, he's not quite got flashed up yet either. The Obliterate to the face. Drags 2 back with death. Grasp, and the shockwave will finish the rest. Requiem comes out, but that lead that the Carthus had early on means so much less right now. Mid lane inhibitor will fall, and Deja Vu are looking to shove in with this minion wave. They've got 30 seconds on a lot of key members. There's not a lot of wave clear available. No Malphite. Oh, Zenith Blade onto King Tent. And I think you might be going to camp at a tent because you're about to become homeless. This Nexus falling oh so low as the Nexus turrets are falling. It's exposed. Kratom falls as well, and now with only 10 seconds remaining, they don't get to respawn, and Deja Vu will claim this series 2-1 in favor of themselves.
And that's a statement. That game 3 was clean, actually. They didn't just need Arboros to have a huge lead. He did have a huge lead by the end of it, don't get me wrong. He had that Flame Horizon over 100 CS just as the Nexus fall. I don't know whether he took a couple of minions around the Nexus to get that. Importantly for me as well, Viking had his best game of the series in that game.
Yes.
He was playing very well in that Varus. He was escaping the wombo, which is the entirety of the enemy's comp. They have Ash Arrow pick comp with the Astro trying to clean up, and he managed to survive that the entirety of the game. That is a big statement. It's unfortunate for NSK because I did like what they were doing in the laning phase. I think particular Key was the standout player for me this series, and of course AFA farming up very well on those junglers made the game very competitive. It just wasn't enough in game 3.
No, and there was a point where, the Karthus hit 10 stacks, where he was 5-0-1, where you could see he did 21,000 damage, the most in this game. It just kind of fell away from when the combos around the key objective fights didn't land. Fourth Drake, I apologize, would have been the one that comes to mind, where last breath only hits 1, Viking gets to survive, and the combo that worked so well the fight beforehand, where you got the last breath from the Ash Arrow, from the Malphite ult, where it was so good.
We do have an interview too. And you know what's really good about this interview? The player which probably, definitely performed the best in this series was Arbosh. And we get to speak to him.
Beautiful. Shall we drag him in?
I can certainly do that. Let me go tab over to it. Hello, Arbosh, and congratulations on that 2-1 victory. I think it's fair to say if we had like an official player of the series vote, you would definitely be ours. How did it feel to be such a hard carry in that series?
I don't know. I don't want to be BM, but I don't really know what Tint was doing, to be frank. The first couple of games, it was... I don't like being mean, but he was kind of running it down, especially game 2. I don't know what was going on up there, but it felt it felt kind of sad game 1 because I got my one trick and then we lost, and then I got on volley duty and we won. But other than that, first couple of games felt pretty good. But then I got to give huge props to both Viking and Jack the last game. I didn't get nearly as big of a lead as I wanted in the third game, but they really stood up and just hard carried me that game. So, all in all, it was a team effort.
Yeah, absolutely was. And I think the reason it was a team effort is because in game 1, your team really found it hard to engage in a lot of those situations.
Yeah.
Actually, we were questioning whether you didn't pull the trigger enough when you were very ahead in that mid game.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
how
That
does it
was
Yes, yeah. I mean, well,
Sorry.
feel free to rumble.
Yeah, it was-
Rumble
it's a-
through that, yeah, because you
Yeah,
hit that
I'm-
massive lead, and it was what was going on in the mid game where it kind of slipped away from you.
to be frank, we just started feeling like into their comp because they had a lot of good zone control, they had a good kite ability. We really didn't have a lot of hard engage.
And you
Our
have
best
to save
engage
your ult for the
was-
Zaya too, because if Zaya
Yeah,
gets
exactly.
left, then she runs through the fight. Yeah.
Yeah, so our only engage tools was like Volibear runs at them or I flash into them, and we were not very good at executing fights when we didn't have a way to easily start them, especially not against that team right there when we didn't really have a proper front line because Volley got a bit behind, so it wasn't nearly as tanky as we kind of wanted it to. So in the end, we just didn't feel like we had a front line. We didn't feel like engaged, so we just didn't know how to really start fights. And because we couldn't start fights were always started on their terms, and then even though we were ahead, they started winning fights. So it's a bit unfortunate, and everyone was kind of upset about it. So we changed strategy for game 2, and we did a lot better starting fights and actually making shit happen, which shows.
Wow, good stuff to hear. But let's move on to games which were probably a little bit brighter from your perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Game 2 and the Volibear performance. Got a couple questions for you here, but let's just start off like, what was it like playing against the set and the Volibear set matchup that went really in your favor early on?
Yeah, I was a bit worried because, frankly, Seaman into a little bit level 1 went into the jungle, gave him a free kill, but then because of because of the wave and because of the fact we got to kill Tent also undeterred there, even though we took him 1-for-1, he lost so many minions, he got so far behind in CS, and it kind of became a free lane.
And he didn't
And
have
then
to even
eventually-
get back to it either. It was really,
Yeah,
really
exactly. And then eventually I just got so far ahead that they, even if there's isn't 2 members, they literally couldn't kill me like 2v1. So at that point, it kind of felt like it was game over because it could go literally anywhere and do literally whatever I want. And then you have to send at minimum 3 members to even kill me, and even sometimes that wouldn't be enough, depending how fights go.
But there was that massive kill on topside. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was...
The 1v4 triple kill was
Well-
pretty absurd.
Well, to be fair, Olaf was there, so it was a 2v4. But yeah,
That's true.
Volibear is a bit of a champion when it gets ahead. It's a bit ridiculous.
All right. So, last question for the Volibear thing here. Talk me through the build.
Yeah,
Because,
I need
all
some
right,
convincing.
Iceborne Gauntlet into Black Cleaver into Wit's End. We need convincing. Where was the Trinity Force? Why for the Iceborne Gauntlet? Why the...
Because the enemy team was majorly physical damage, and Trinity Force is kind of a... Okay, going into the game, my plan wasn't really just like hard stomp, so Trinity Force is kind of a like snowball win more item, while if you go Iceborne Gauntlet, it gives you similar stats because it still works with your W. And the fact that the enemy team have majorly physical damage just played into that even more. Like, it gives you utility as well, because every single W you cast will... how do you put it? It'll
Give you
prog
shield.
Iceborne. Yeah, it'll give you
Iceborne,
shield prog,
yeah.
it'll prog Iceborne. The Black Cleaver is just a very, very efficient item on Volibear because of the fact that every single application of damage applies a stack of it, including your passive, so you can kind of just passive and Black Cleaver an entire enemy team.
A lot
by
of your
just
damage
being in the middle of it.
is magical as volleyball.
Yeah, it's very mixed damage, but it's like... I was maxing W, so I think majority of my damage is physical, and at the same time, it also just shreds their armor for the rest of my team as well.
Okay.
Because I was more so playing Volibear as like a team fight frontline, more so than just a split pusher. Because if it was split push only 1, then yeah, Trinity Force might have been better. But yeah, also the fact that they were just full AD almost just made building a lot of armor very cost efficient as well. So just it made sense, and I've tried it a couple times. I think it's a pretty good build on Volibear, especially because you also max out on CDR already at 2 items.
Okay. Anyway, so we'll move off of that then. Of course, you've had your time to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and of course it worked out very well for you if you're going to go by the results-based analysis thing. I want to talk a little bit more about Division 1 in general because obviously
Yeah.
you're in the lofty heights now. This is the big
Yeah.
leagues for us. How are you feeling about this split in terms of looking at the other teams? I don't know the scouting you've done. How far do you reckon you can go? Is it going to be as close as it was today? Because Game 3 was clean. Don't get me wrong, but the other two did hang in the balance for quite some time.
Yeah,
So, are you expecting Division 1 to be close? Do you expect to be, competing for that title?
It's again. I think Matt touched on this earlier today as well, but it is gonna be hard to compete a title because it feels like Vengeance is by far the best team right now. But I think our goal definitely is to compete to get into the finals, and then from there try to figure out how to beat them. I definitely think we can contest for like top 3, top 4, depending on how good the other teams are. Because it's really hard to tell how good 7DS is, especially,
Yeah.
and also somewhat Horizon Shadow because they're a completely new team. So it's really hard to tell where all of them lie. But we think we can definitely, if not get second place, at least contest for top 2. And if we get in the finals, hopefully we can find a way to beat Vengeance and compete for the split. Yeah, dream goal is win the split. Realistic goal is probably aim for top 2, top 3.
Oh,
Okay,
Marcus,
so-
put down your hands. Woof.
Last one here from us then probably. You've spoken as Vengeance as this team you need to reach the heights of. What are
Yeah.
kind of some things you feel you need to work on as a team to kind of be able to contest with that top of the table team?
They have they play very skirmish heavy, and they just have a very I don't know how to describe it. They have a very good way to always stick together. Basically, like you'll always think you've caught someone out, but then eventually team's just sitting in a bush 5 meters behind them, and they turn every engage you do on them around, or at least a lot of them. So you need to improve a lot on like how to track the team, how to track each member of the team, and figure out where they are. You need very good vision control, and that's something I feel like we kind of lack right now.
Okay.
So yeah, that's at least what it feels like right now. Like blow for blow individually, I think we're not that far behind them, or even ahead, or even someone like that, depending on lane to lane. But it is just their teamwork and way to play together and around vision is really far ahead of anyone else in the league, and that's something we have to either figure out or at least be able to, how do you put it, replicate if we do want to beat them. But I do think there's realistic hope that we could get there by the end of the split.
Yeah, and speaking of you having your realistic goals, but having these last 3 aspirations and stuff, that kind of talks towards the mentality of the team and kind of focusing more on your team in general as a group of players, group of friends, group of whatever. Obviously, last split, we covered the finals. That was a fun time.
Yeah.
How's it been kind of keeping with these players? What's your opinion on these guys? How easy has it been to play with them? What's it like in your, not the team house, obviously, but like in the team atmosphere? What's it been like for you?
They're all really nice people and great people. That's the main reason we stuck around, just because we all enjoy playing together and enjoy having fun together. But also just, it's hard to really argue that there were any clear upgrades you could have made anywhere, because so far, again, we won Div 2, so until we start losing hard in Div 1, it's hard to really argue that any of them don't deserve their spot on the team and a spot in Div 1.
Yeah.
Just in general, the team is very close-knit and just have a lot of fun together, more than anything. Seaman as a new addition is still kind of, settling in, but he's also a really solid dude and really good to have around. So overall, it's a really fun team environment, but for the better or for the worse, it can make sometimes stressful games a little bit more, impactful in the team, like spirit. But overall, it's a very, I like all of that. It's really good fun.
Fantastic. All right, so before we leave you, any last thoughts, any shout-outs you want to give? Floor is yours, sir.
Flame Twitch chat.
That's the one.
I've not really read much Twitch threat, but Kraden is I love Kraden, man. He's a really good guy, and I think NSK is honestly a lot more solid than they've been the last couple splits.
Okay.
I think Tent is better than he showed today. I just think he might have had a bad day or something. I definitely don't think this is his, I don't think this is his usual play. I think he might have just had an off day or something. But in general, I definitely think NSK are a lot better than they were last split. And Matt was discovering is if you lose to NSK, you're in, relegation, some people already said. But I think NSK definitely are also trying to contest for the top 4, top 3.
All right.
I think on their best day, they can definitely start contesting some of the other middle of the pack, even higher up teams. It's just I don't think today was their day, sadly.
All right. So some inside info. Reckoning the NSK aren't so easy as you might assume.
I mean, to be frank, I still think we're better than them. But
Oh, yeah.
Good
So
to
it's
hear.
like, wow, some really No, we're better.
Okay,
Yeah, come on.
the humility's only got certain limits. All right, thank
Yeah,
you
come on.
so much for coming and chatting to us, Arbesh. But
Thank you for having me.
we're completely welcome. But congrats on the win one more time. But I
Thank you.
from myself
Wait, are you
and
gonna-
Nymera and the rest of VL here on Stream 2, I'm gonna bid you good night, and we'll see you again next week.
Good night.